Chapter 215. As soon as he regained consciousness, Wu Yan struggled to open his eyes. He stared blankly at the ceiling not far away and uttered a famous sentence. "I don't recognize this ceiling." As soon as he spoke, Wu Yan realized that his originally excruciating pain was actually gone. This surprised Wu Yan greatly. "Where am I?" "This is the hospital." An old frog-like face suddenly replaced the ceiling and appeared in front of Wu Yan. Startled, Wu Yan reflexively threw a punch at the frog-like face. The frog-faced man screamed and retreated a few steps while covering his face. Only then did Wu Yan realize that the frog-faced man was wearing a doctor's white gown. A doctor in a white coat with a frog-like face. How could Wu Yan not recognize who this person in front of him is? Underworld Soul Chaser. "I didn't expect someone who hasn't been to the hospital to know my name." The frog-faced. "Ah no," the Underworld Soul Chaser said to Wu Yan in annoyance while covering his face in pain. "But even if you know me, you don't have to punch me the moment you see me. How much do you hate me?" Wu Yan chuckled in an embarrassed manner. "Unknowingly, I." "Forget it, I just came to check on your condition. Since you still have the strength to hit people, it means that you're fine." After that, the Underworld Soul Chaser walked out of the room. It seems that his first impression of Wu Yan wasn't that good. Before leaving the room, the Underworld Soul Chaser turned back and said, "Oh right, the little girl next to you has been watching over you for an entire night." Wu Yan flinched. Only now did he notice that there's someone sleeping on his lap on the other side of his body. Looking at the tea-haired girl sleeping soundly but with a trace of unconcealable worry between her brows, Wu Yan smiled gently and stroked her bangs. Perhaps because she felt Wu Yan's touch, the tea-haired girl's eyelids fluttered and she immediately woke up. "Yan, you're awake." Mikoto looked at Wu Yan in surprise. The worry between her brows slowly disappeared when she saw Wu Yan wake up. Wu Yan nodded with a smile and continued stroking Mikoto's hair. "How long have I been asleep?" Wu Yan's action made Mikoto blush a little, but she didn't refuse. "You've been asleep for an entire day." After that, Mikoto immediately asked, "How is it? Do you feel any discomfort?" "No, other than feeling a little." Looking at his own body, Wu Yan smiled. At the same time, he was secretly impressed. Needless to say, the Underworld Soul Chaser must be the reason why he was able to recover in one day. That Underworld Soul Chaser who can even bring the dead back to life is just as strong as the original work described. If one were to ask who Wu Yan admires the most in this world, it wouldn't be Alistair, who has an insanely high IQ, nor is it the righteous Tusii, it would be this Underworld Soul Chaser. "Alright, where are Chuju and the others?" "Oh, they went out to buy some food," Mikoto said, and then took off a bracelet from her wrist and handed it to Wu Yan. It was the biocontainment device that contained the sisters. "My sisters, you're all inside. Moreover, we've already used the gene recovery fluid to repair your bodies." Mikoto is holding the biocontainment device like it's a treasure. When she said that, there was an unconcealable joy and relief on her face. Wu Yan took the biocontainment device and touched the bracelet that contained the sisters. His heart was filled with emotions. "You don't want them to come out and walk around?" Who knew that Mikoto would shake her head decisively. "Everyone has the same face. If they come out, it will cause a ruckus. Plus, those research institutes are probably frantically looking for the sisters. It's not good for them to come out so casually. Also," Mikoto looked at the biocontainment device with a gentle light in her eyes. "They said that they don't want to cause trouble for everyone. So it's not a bad idea to sleep in there." "I see." Wu Yan put the biocontainment device on his wrist and smiled. "What a cute group of sisters." Mikoto nodded with a smile. She hesitated for a bit and said to Wu Yan, "I've already told them about us." "Oh." Wu Yan turned to look at Mikoto. Mikoto continued, "They said that they're willing to come with us." Wu Yan smiled bitterly. "Even if they don't want to, I'll still drag them with me. After all, there's no place for them in this world." Mikoto went silent after hearing Wu Yan's words. The atmosphere became heavy for a moment. "Master." The door opened. Ikaros stood at the door with a bag in her hand. She looked at Wu Yan, who was lying on the bed with joy in her eyes. "Ikaros." Wu Yan's heart was filled with tenderness as he looked at the girl who only cared about him. He waved at her. "Yan, you're awake." "What, Master? You're finally alive." Wu Yan was still smiling when he heard the first sentence, but when he heard the second sentence, Wu Yan lost all his strength again. Wu Yan rolled his eyes at Astria and said helplessly, "What do you mean I'm alive?" Wu Yan just finished his sentence when a voice full of resentment came from behind Chuju Ikoros and Astria. "Scum like you better be bedridden for the rest of your life." Wu Yan felt a headache when he heard this voice. Every time this voice comes, it's bad news, at least for him. "Kuriko, how can you say that?" Mikoto subconsciously felt dissatisfied. After all, the whole day Wu Yan laid in bed, she's been worrying about him. But Wanima. Kuriko glared at Wu Yan with resentment for a while before looking at Mikoto with a pitiful expression. "Wanima, I've been watching over that scum for an entire day. Why don't you think about how much pain I feel? If Wani-sama gets wrinkles on your beautiful face because of this, Kuriko." Maybe she's imagining Mikoto's wrinkled face, but Kuriko couldn't accept it. She kneeled on the ground and kept banging her head on the ground. "Kuriko." Mikoto felt like she was being humiliated. Chuju led Astria and Ikoros around Kuriko and walked towards Wu Yan. "How do you feel?" "I'm okay." Wu Yan ruffled Ikoros' hair. Astria immediately offered her head to Wu Yan. Amused, Wu Yan ruffled her hair as well. That day at the lab. Wu Yan glanced at Kuriko, who was still banging her head, and whispered to Chuju. Chuju smiled and nodded. "Don't worry, we weren't discovered. Everything went smoothly." "That's good," Chuju and Mikoto said in unison after hearing Wu Yan's words. "Not good at all." Wu Yan flinched. Hinajuku pointed her finger at Wu Yan's nose and exclaimed, "Look at yourself, what's so good about you when you're like this?" Wu Yan scratched his head and laughed dryly. "I didn't expect it either." Seeing Wu Yan's, "I know I'm wrong" look, Hinajuku angrily turned her head away. "All in all, the most important thing for you now is to rest." "I understand," Wu Yan replied helplessly. "Master." Astria took out a bunch of lunchboxes. She took one of them and gave it to Wu Yan. She didn't want to part with it, as she said. "Master, this is for you, it's delicious." Looking at Astria's pained expression and the number of lunchboxes beside her, Wu Yan's mouth twitched. He couldn't stay calm anymore. Outside the door, Ruizi and Early Spring stood there, watching everything that happened in the ward. They looked at each other and shrugged their shoulders helplessly. "Shouldn't we have come?" Chapter 216. Wu Yan stared at the ceiling as he laid on his bed. His consciousness entered the system. Mikoto, Kuriko and the others have already gone back. They are still students of Tokuwadai, so they can't skip class. Hinajuku, Astria and Ikaros also went back home. Wu Yan is the only one left in the large ward. His consciousness entered the system and the system projection appeared in front of him. Wu Yan looked at it and he clicked on the character status. Character. Wu Yan abilities: Sword Mastery, Cooking Mastery, Complete Memory, Chaotic Return to Horizon Dance, Electromaster, LV5. Equipment: Shauna of the Eastern Temple, rank C. Dragon Armor, rank C. Summons: Misaka Mikoto, Gui Chuju Ikoros, Astria. Equipment points: 171000 item points, 740000 ability points, 201000 summoning points, 220000 level, 66, character. Misaka Mikoto ability: Electromancer, LV5, Strength, B Endurance, B Dexterity, A Spirit, A Equipment, None level, 70, character. Gui Chuju ability: None Strength, B Endurance, B Dexterity, A Spirit, B Equipment, White Cherry Blossom, rank C. Level, 63, character. Ikaros ability: Sky Queen mode, Strength, A Endurance, B Dexterity, A Spirit, A Equipment, Artemis Permanent Homing Missile, rank C. Aegis Absolute Defense Circle, rank C. Apollon Apollo, rank C. Uranus System, rank B. Level, 78, character. Astria ability: Melee Mastery, Strength, A Endurance, A Dexterity, A Spirit, C Equipment, Chrysor Super Vibrating Photon Blade, rank C. Aegis AoE Shield, rank C. Level, 75. When he saw his level, Wu Yan was clearly surprised. When did he level up? Could it be when he defeated Accelerator? After all, Accelerator was level 70. It would be strange if he didn't gain any EXP from killing him. Furthermore, the EXP from Yujino Shizuri and Kikin Taidaku allowed him to level up once. Maybe it's because I fainted when Accelerator fell, so I didn't hear the system notification. However, 2 rank 7s and 1 rank 8 only allowed him to level up once. It was getting harder and harder to level up. On the other hand, Chuju had leveled up 3 times. She was not far behind him. Hinajiku and I are fine, but Mikoto Ikuros and Astria didn't even get a single level up. After checking the character status, Wu Yan looked at the quest for this world's instance dungeon. At present, the first quest of saving his sisters and the second quest of defeating Accelerator had been completed. Thus, the third quest should be unlocked. Dungeon World. Magic Catalog. Dungeon Quest. Rescue. Quest 1. Save 20,000 Misaka sisters. Revive all the dead Misaka sisters and heal all the Misaka sisters who are still alive. Collect all 20,000 Misaka sisters and store them in the biodimensional storage device. Completed. Quest Reward. Equipment points, item points, ability points, summoning points 100,000 each. Quest 2. Defeat the strongest Esper in Academy City. Accelerator. Completed. Quest Reward. Randomly summon a character. Quest 3. Seduce at least 3 characters in this dungeon world and have them willingly follow you out of this world. Quest Reward. Summon a character that meets the requirements of Quest 3 for free. When he saw the description of Quest 3, Wu Yan was stunned. There was only one thought left in his mind: the system has opened its eyes. This is clearly a chance for me to expand my crystal palace. For a moment, Wu Yan was immersed in a world of infinite joy. A perverted smile hung on his face. He was almost drooling. Fortunately, there was no one else in the room. Otherwise, the title of scum that Hazy mentioned would have been confirmed. After the initial joy, he frowned. Even though this mission 3 looks pretty awesome, but to push down at least 3 characters and get them to leave with him willingly, this mission isn't going to be as easy as the previous 2 missions. Moreover, the choice of characters is also a problem. Looks like I'll have to prepare for a long battle. With that in mind, Wu Yan tossed Quest 3 aside and looked at the summon column. His reward for Quest 2 is the ability to summon a character at random. This reward is not that big, but it's not that small. If he gets a powerful girl, then it's a whole different story. But after thinking about it, he gave up on the idea of doing it now. In Academy City there are traps everywhere. Ignoring everything else, identity is a problem. If he casually summoned a person, the person would probably have to stay at home and not be able to go out. So, the matter of summoning a character should be put aside for now. Looking at his character status, he still has 4 summoning points left. Wu Yan pondered if it's time for him to exchange for new abilities and equipment. This time, the battle with Accelerator made Wu Yan realize that even though he's a tier 7, he's still very weak. Ever since he transmigrated, it's not like he hasn't been hurt before, but he's never been hurt this badly. Recalling that day's battle, his heart still palpitated. If it weren't for Mikoto and the girls saving the sisters and completing Mission 1, the system's notification would have woken him up. Otherwise, he would have been buried alive in the ground. Accelerator being too strong is one reason, but more importantly, it's because he's not strong enough. Right now, Wu Yan desperately wants to increase his strength. Only by becoming stronger can he deal with stronger enemies in the future. Tier 8 is just a stage. After that, there's still Tier 9, Demigod. Originally, Wu Yan wanted to save up his ability points and equipment points to exchange for better abilities and equipment in the future. But now, Wu Yan feels that it's not a bad idea to grasp all the resources at hand and increase his strength as quickly as possible. Plus, Wu Yan already has a choice. Ability, Bloodline, True Ancestor Bloodline. Vampires born as vampires, the most special existence among vampires. Their nature is close to that of fairies. They have strong resistance to ultraviolet rays, strong vitality and recovery. They're not afraid of sunlight or the sacred weapon Mercury. Even if they're smashed to pieces, they can recover in an instant. They have eternal life and will not age or die. They can give humans the embrace and turn them into vampires. Their only weakness is their uncontrollable urge to suck blood. Ability points, 500,000. One has to say that Wu Yan wants this bloodline because of its immortality. This time he almost died and Wu Yan was traumatized. To put it simply, he's afraid of death. Of course, wanting it is one thing, being able to exchange for it is another. The true ancestor bloodline is no doubt powerful, but it's also a lot of ability points. 500,000. And Wu Yan's entire net worth of ability points is only 200,000. No matter how you look at it, this true ancestor bloodline is something that Wu Yan can only look at but not eat. But there's another thing that can put this thing into Wu Yan's mouth. Wu Yan opened the item list and dragged it twice. Soon he found what he needed: bloodline immunity. When the user exchanges for a bloodline ability, the amount of ability points paid will determine the preferential immunity of the bloodline, limited to bloodlines below 500,000 ability points. 10% discount. 1000000 item points 20% discount. 2000000 item points 30% discount. 3000000 item points 40% discount. 4000000 item points 50% discount. 5000000 item points 40% discount. 6000000 item points 30% discount. 7000000 item points 20% discount. 8000000 item points 10% discount. 9000000 item points full immunity. 10 million item points. Chapter 217. Bloodline immunity. Depending on the amount of item points paid, Wu Yan can exchange bloodline for a special item. With this, he can exchange for a true ancestor bloodline. And it just so happened that the limit of bloodline immunity was bloodlines below 500,000 ability points. True ancestor bloodlines happened to be within that limit. As long as Wu Yan paid 6 million item points and obtained a 40% discount, he could exchange for the true ancestor bloodline for 200,000 ability points. Although it was a loss to exchange 200,000 ability points and 6 million item points for a bloodline with 500,000 ability points, item points and ability points were different. If Wu Yan wanted to obtain ability points, he could only exchange them with magic crystals, other than the rewards from the system's missions. At least, Wu Yan had not found a third way to obtain ability points. Item points, on the other hand, were much easier to obtain. As long as it was not a lifeless corpse like a human corpse or a stone spider, almost any kind of corpse could be turned into the system in exchange for item points. Therefore, using 6 million item points to exchange for 300,000 ability points, Wu Yan was quite willing to do so. As for why Wu Yan did not exchange his 7 million item points for the bloodline immunity, it was because Wu Yan wanted to exchange for another item: White Fruit of Cleansing. A special item for vampires. If the user is a vampire, consuming it will purify the body and cancel out the urge to suck blood. If the user is not a vampire, consuming it will have no effect. Cost 1 million item points. Without this White Fruit of Cleansing, Wu Yan would not dare to accept the true ancestor bloodline even if it was given to him for free. He did not want to become a monster that lived to suck blood, and he did not want to suffer for the rest of his life because of the urge to suck blood. Just like Alchemy, Wu Yan clicked on the White Fruit of Cleansing. With a flip of his hand, a white fruit surrounded by mist appeared in his hand. After exchanging for the White Fruit of Cleansing, Wu Yan clicked on the bloodline immunity and paid 6 million item points. Ding! Bloodline immunity, exchange successful. When the user exchanges for a bloodline, they only need to pay 40% of the ability points to exchange for the bloodline. Note: only limited to bloodlines with 500,000 ability points and below. The effect will only take effect once. After exchanging twice, Wu Yan spent 7 million item points in exchange for a fruit the size of a fingertip and a message from the system. After exchanging, Wu Yan clicked on the ability column. There were 3 options: skills, talents, and bloodlines. He clicked on bloodlines and clicked on the bloodline. An ancestor bloodline. Ancestor bloodline. Vampires born as vampires, the most special existence among vampires. Their nature is close to that of elves. They have strong resistance to ultraviolet rays and strong vitality and resilience. They are not afraid of sunlight or the divine weapon Mercury. Even if they are smashed to pieces, they can recover in an instant. They have eternal life and will not age or die. They can give humans the embrace and turn them into vampires. Their only weakness is that they have an uncontrollable urge to suck blood. Ability points: 5 million. At this moment Wu Yan's heart was beating faster. It was natural. After all, this was the first time Wu Yan had exchanged for a bloodline. Moreover, it was a bloodline as powerful as a true ancestor bloodline. Licking his lips, Wu Yan clicked on the exchange button. Ding! Exchange for true ancestor bloodline. Confirm. The system's beep surprised Wu Yan. In the past there was no such beep. He just clicked on the exchange button. He did not expect there to be a beep when exchanging for a bloodline. Perhaps it was because there could only be one bloodline. If he wanted to exchange for another, he would have to sell the old bloodline to the system. That was why the system was so cautious. Confirm. Ding. Exchange for true ancestor bloodline successful. As the user has a 40% discount for bloodline immunity, the required ability points has been reduced to 200,000 ability points. Ding. Obtain true ancestor bloodline. Following the system's beep, countless golden dots of light of various sizes suddenly appeared around Wu Yan's body. Under Wu Yan's scrutinizing gaze, they all surged into Wu Yan's body. The blood that was originally flowing in an orderly manner in Wu Yan's body suddenly flowed at an unimaginable speed when the dots of light surged into Wu Yan's body. The blood flowed faster and faster. Logically speaking, the blood vessels in Wu Yan's body should have exploded long ago. However, not only did the blood vessels in his body not explode, they became even more resilient as the blood flowed faster. As time passed, an inexplicable fluctuation appeared in the wildly flowing blood. The fluctuation passed through the blood and spread to every part of Wu Yan's body. Then it was absorbed by every cell and every tissue. The more fluctuation it absorbed, the stronger the cells and tissues became. They became stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. When the last ripple was absorbed by the body, the blood flow began to slow down, until it returned to normal, flowing slowly. On the sickbed, Wu Yan, who was quietly accepting the true ancestor bloodline's transformation of his body, suddenly opened his eyes. There, the originally black pupils had disappeared, replaced by a pair of wine-red pupils. Wu Yan stretched lazily. His entire body felt as if it was soaking in a hot spring. It was extremely comfortable. He could feel that his body had become unexpectedly strong. At this time, if Wu Yan suffered the same injuries as when he fought with Accelerator, then this time he might not even have a scratch on his skin, let alone almost dying. Of course, this comfort was only temporary. Soon Wu Yan's body trembled violently. His wine-red pupils suddenly turned golden. At the same time, a strong sense of hunger came from the depths of Wu Yan's body. His body shuddered violently. He felt extremely uncomfortable. His throat involuntarily moved up and down. He didn't even need to think about it to know that this is the urge to suck blood. Wu Yan tossed the white cleansing fruit into his mouth. As soon as it entered his mouth, the white cleansing fruit turned into a cold current that rushed into his body. The cold current quickly circulated in his body and washed over his entire body. Wu Yan stopped trembling and his golden pupils returned to their original wine-red color. Wu Yan felt his body become much lighter. Wu Yan clenched his fists and he mumbled. That should do it, right? After exchanging for the true ancestor bloodline, Wu Yan didn't close the system projection. Instead, he clicked into the equipment section and found a piece of equipment. Meteor Knight, B grade, also known as the Bow of Annihilation. With one arrow the enemy will be annihilated. No arrow needed, automatic homing. 150,000 equipment points. Wu Yan had been eyeing this bow for a long time. It wasn't just because it was a B-grade gold armament, it was also because the system's evaluation said that it was infinitely close to A grade. It's also because of this rating that's infinitely close to an A grade, and the description that says, one arrow the enemy will be annihilated, that he gave up on exchanging for a B-grade sword. Shana of the Nippon Den isn't at the point of elimination yet. If he can get his hands on a sure kill bow like this, Wu Yan's killing power will increase by leaps and bounds. The moment he clicked on the exchange, a pitch-black bow that shines like stars appeared in Wu Yan's hand. Wu Yan smiled. But when he saw his character status, he couldn't bring himself to smile. Character: Wu Yan. Abilities: True Ancestor Bloodline, Sword Expert, Cooking Expert, Complete Memory, Chaotic Return to Horizon Dance, Electromaster, LV5. Equipment: Shana the Templar C grade, Dragon Armor C grade, Meteor Knight B grade. Summons: Misaka Mikoto Gui Chuju Ikaros Astri Equipment Points, 21,000 Item Points, 400000 Ability Points, 1,000 Summoning Points, 220000 Level, 66. Chapter 218. Character. Wu Yan Abilities. True Ancestor Bloodline, Sword Expert, Cooking Expert, Complete Memory, Chaotic Return to Horizon Dance, Electromaster, LV5. Equipment, Shauna of the Holy Temple C, Dragon Armor C, Meteor Knight B. Summons. Misaka Mikoto Gui Chuju Ikaros Astri Equipment Points, 21,000 Item Points, 400000 Ability Points, 1,000 Summoning Points, 220000 Level, 66. Everything is back to square one. True Ancestor Bloodline, 200,000 Ability Points, White Cleansing Fruit, 1 million Item Points, Bloodline Immunity, 6 million Item Points, Meteor Knight, 150,000 Equipment Points. After a short exchange he had used up 200,000 Ability Points, 7 million Item Points, and 150,000 Equipment Points. Right now he only had 400,000 Item Points and 21,000 Equipment Points left. The worst was his ability points, which were left with only 1,000 points. He didn't even have enough to cover his foundation. Luckily he has enough summoning points. Wu Yan felt a little better. Moreover, the points spent are well worth it. Wu Yan may be level 66, but his strength is on a completely different level compared to before. With the bloodline of the true ancestor, Wu Yan can't die no matter what. Plus he has Meteor Shower as his trump card. Even if Wu Yan had to fight Accelerator again he wouldn't be afraid. Wu Yan looked at his pitiful summoning points and closed the system. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. He raised Meteor Knight in his hand. The bow is as black as ink but the body is transparent like a black crystal. It's very attractive. Inside the transparent black bow there are specks of starlight. Elegant. Beautiful. Even Wu Yan looked at Meteor Shower in a daze. If it wasn't for the fact that it's AB rank, anyone would have treated it as a work of art. If you think that Meteor Shower is only beautiful then you'll die a horrible death. In terms of rank, it's the same as Ikaros Apollo, infinitely close to an A rank armament. In terms of power it's even stronger than Ikaros Apollo. Moreover, Meteor Shower has an automatic tracking function. In other words, Wu Yan doesn't need to aim at all. As long as the target is locked on, even if the target runs to the ends of the earth, he would still have to take the hit of Meteor Shower. Caressing the elegant bow, Wu Yan nodded in satisfaction. He just didn't know how powerful it would be if he used it. She said it's stronger than Apollo, but how would he know if he didn't see it with his own eyes? Of course, Wu Yan isn't stupid enough to shoot an arrow here. He doesn't know how strong Meteor Knight is, but Wu Yan has seen the power of Apollo with his own eyes. To put it bluntly, if Ikaros uses Apollo to shoot an arrow at Academy City, the city will be gone. Meteor Shower is even stronger than Apollo. If Wu Yan were to fire an arrow here, Alistair would definitely come after him. After all, he doesn't have Ikaros's absolute defense circle that can block the shockwaves from Apollo's explosion. What a beautiful bow. Just as Wu Yan was immersed in the beauty and power of Meteor Knight, a delicate voice suddenly came from beside him. Wu Yan's hand that was holding the bow trembled, he almost dropped Meteor Knight. Patting his chest with lingering fear, Wu Yan didn't want to drop the beautiful Meteor Knight. Even if it's a B-grade gold armament in terms of hardness, even if Ikaros used all her strength she wouldn't be able to scratch it. When he saw who it was, Wu Yan immediately rolled his eyes. "Queenzama, can you stop scaring people?" Shokuhu Misaki ignored Wu Yan's complaints. She reached out with misty eyes and touched the Meteor Knight in Wu Yan's hand. "What a beautiful bow, where did you steal it from?" Hearing this, Wu Yan's innate chi rushed from his chest to his throat and got stuck there. Wu Yan almost choked to death. "What do you mean by stolen? This is rightfully mine." "Is that so?" Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan suspiciously. With one look she froze. Her starry eyes flashed with a strange light. Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan blankly before asking him in a shocked tone. "Why did your eyes turn red?" "My eyes turned red." Hearing Shokuhu Misaki's words, Wu Yan's first reaction was to be stunned. After all, his eyes are on his body, he doesn't have the ability to see his own eyes without the help of external forces. Shokuhu Misaki didn't say anything. She took out a mirror from her bag and placed it in front of Wu Yan. A pair of wine-red pupils, as if they were naturally there, added a lot of charm to Wu Yan's face that wasn't ugly nor handsome. It really is. Touching his own eyes, Wu Yan understood. This is the effect of the true ancestor bloodline. He is now a true ancestor vampire. Not bad. Wu Yan didn't answer Shokuhu Misaki's question. Shokuhu Misaki is pretty curious about him anyways. Adding one or two more wouldn't hurt at all. Isn't there a saying that goes like this? When a girl is curious about you, she's not far from falling for you. Although he doesn't know how true this saying is, Wu Yan doesn't mind making it true. After all, he has a glorious mission 3 waiting for him to complete. Otherwise, he might as well aim at Gisama first. Staring at Wu Yan's deep wine-red pupils, Shokuhu Misaki's starry eyes flickered. But Gisama knows that her problem is like throwing a meat bun at a dog. It's a one-way trip. Shokuhu Misaki stood up. Just when Wu Yan thought she would run away in a fit of pique, Shokuhu Misaki took out a remote control from her bag and pressed it on Wu Yan. Beep. Following Gisama's action, a flash of electricity appeared in front of Wu Yan, making Wu Yan feel helpless. Gisama, are you trying to control me? Yes. Shokuhu Misaki didn't have the slightest awareness of her wrongdoings. Her starry eyes once again met Wu Yan's wine-red pupils. If possible, I really want to control you, then use psychological control to learn all your secrets. Hearing this, Wu Yan rolled his eyes. No, it's more like he rolled his eyes. Haven't you heard of it? A man with secrets is the most attractive. I've only heard of this saying among women. Men should be more attractive with deeper secrets. Well, it doesn't matter. With a flip of his hand, the meteor shower disappeared from Wu Yan's hand. It was stored inside his space ring. Shokuhu Misaki raised an eyebrow but didn't ask any more questions. She knew that Wu Yan wouldn't say anything. So she just smiled and said, "What a pity, such a beautiful bow, how nice would it be if I had it?" Wu Yan looked at Shokuhu Misaki with a half smile. "Jama, do you know that the beautiful bow you speak of can destroy the entire academy city if you pull it?" Shokuhu Misaki was shocked, then she laughed. "Era, you must be joking with me. What do you think?" Gisama still had that half smile on her face, but she couldn't laugh this time. Based on her understanding of Wu Yan, this sentence is most likely true. Shokuhu Misaki covered her mouth. "If it's true, then I want it even more." Wu Yan helplessly shrugged and sighed. "Then Gisama, why did you come here? Don't tell me you're here to see me? Is that not possible?" "Fine." Wu Yan felt powerless when he said that. Shokuhu Misaki smiled and put her face in front of Wu Yan. "Do you still remember the promise?" Wu Yan's face fell. "Don't tell me you want me to go on a date with you now? Why would I?" Shokuhu Misaki said and walked out of the room, leaving behind only one sentence. "See you tomorrow at 7, Tokuwadai Dormitory." Chapter 219. Under Wu Yan's speechless gaze, Gisama gracefully walked out of the room. Who would believe that Tokuwadai's Gisama would come all the way to the hospital just to have a date? Wu Yan doesn't know how to describe his current mood. If you want to say he's happy, then a little. After all, his date is Shokuhu Misaki. It's just that Wu Yan doesn't understand why Gisama is so eager to go on a date with him. Is it to attack Mikoto? Probably a little. But Wu Yan knows that Gisama is more interested in him because he has too many things that she's interested in. Just like that, Wu Yan, who was in a daze on the hospital bed, didn't notice that after Shokuhu Misaki walked out of the room, a petite figure appeared outside the door. She hid in a corner and secretly peeked inside. Her eyes were filled with resentment. That person is Shiroi Kuriko. Kuriko watched as Shokuhu Misaki walked away, then secretly peeked at Wu Yan, who was in a daze on the hospital bed. Her lips were tightly pursed, her twin ponytails swayed without any wind. An inexplicable black aura covered her entire body, turning her into a true Kuriko. That despicable scum. Not only did he steal my Wanisma, he even dared to have an affair outside. And it's with that Shokuhu Misaki. Whenever she thought of her Wanisama falling into the hands of that scum, and only a member of his crystal palace, Kuriko's entire body went into a frenzy. She almost tore off her clothes. This time I will definitely stuff that scum into the trash. Kuriko made a decision that she didn't know how many times she had secretly made this decision. She chuckled and saw that Wu Yan was still in a daze. She immediately thought that this opportunity will not come again. With a light leap, she disappeared from the spot. An inexplicable sense of crisis suddenly appeared in Wu Yan's heart, pulling him back from his daze. When he regained his senses, it was already too late. The pink pig-tailed creature showed up in front of Wu Yan with a creepy smile, straddling his bed and pressing a small hand on Wu Yan's chest. Wu Yan's expression changed when he realized what had happened. He looked at Shiroi Kuriko, who had suddenly appeared in front of him, and her hand on his body. He knew that he was going to die today. Scum. Go to the trash can and think about life. Following Shiroi Kuriko's resentful voice, Wu Yan also disappeared from the room. Shiroi Kuriko was the only one left sitting on Wu Yan's bed. She was laughing coquettishly as if her scheme had succeeded. In an empty alley, a figure suddenly appeared on top of a trash can. With his head down and feet up, he firmly plunged into the trash can. %, ashen-faced from the stench of the trash can, he couldn't help but curse out loud. Looking at the trash can that is getting closer and closer to his face, his potential erupted as he reached out his hands and grabbed the edge of the trash can. He stood upside down on top of the trash can and froze there. A steady stream of stench entered Wu Yan's nose. Wu Yan's hands trembled and he almost fell into the trash can. Gritting his teeth, Wu Yan tilted and fell to one side. He would rather fall into a dog's mouth than fall into a trash can. Wu Yan's wish of falling was quickly realized. His face, which had become much more handsome because of his wine-red pupils, fell to the ground. He howled in pain. If he hadn't become a true ancestor and his body had become much stronger, he would have been disfigured. Standing up from the ground, Wu Yan covered his face and said hatefully, "Shiroi Kuriko, you damned Yuri girl, I will remember this." Although Yuri girls are very loving and Shiroi Kuriko is a petite and cute girl, Shiroi Kuriko has clearly left the Yuri level and is heading towards the pervert level. Against a pervert, Wu Yan believes that he can still bear to do it. "Mikoto, why are you so popular?" Muttering to himself, Wu Yan didn't notice that because of his words he had attracted another person's attention. "Hello, may I ask if the Mikoto you were talking about is Misaka Mikoto?" The sudden voice startled Wu Yan, but when he saw the person's face he was stunned again. "Hello, may I ask if the Mikoto you were talking about is Misaka Mikoto?" The person saw Wu Yan's dazed expression and thought that he didn't hear clearly, so he asked again in a very gentle voice. But Wu Yan knows that although this person isn't a bad person, he's definitely not a good person either. Tali. In the original work, the magician who had a crush on Mikoto and betrayed the organization to join the Academy City Black Ops. The one who pretended to be the grandson of the chairman of Tokuwadai Middle School, Haihara Mitsuki. In other words, Wu Yan's love rival. Why is he here? Wu Yan frowned slightly and smiled at Etsali, who is now disguised as Haihara Mitsuki. "Oh. Do you know Mikoto?" Etsali took a deep look at Wu Yan and smiled warmly at him. "Hello, I am Haihara Mitsuki, Misaka Mikoto's friend." Wu Yan smiled and nodded, but he snorted in his heart. In the original work, this Etsali pretended to be Haihara Mitsuki and kept on pestering Mikoto. He annoyed Mikoto to no end. How can he be considered Mikoto's friend? Even though Wu Yan admired him for joining the Black Ops for Mikoto, he was also a bit annoyed. From another perspective, the person he was determined to protect is his wife. Before Wu Yan could speak, Etsali suddenly said, "If I'm not mistaken, this Mr. You should be the one who claimed to be Misaka Mikoto's boyfriend on the day of the Tokuwadai Midsummer Festival, right?" Wu Yan looked at Etsali in surprise. "I didn't expect you to know me." "Of course I know you, sir." The smile on Etsali's face had already disappeared, replaced by a bitter expression. "How could I not know Misaka Mikoto's sweetheart?" Hearing this, Wu Yan narrowed his eyes. "You care about Mikoto a lot." Hearing Wu Yan's words, Etsali nodded hesitantly. He seemed to be in a difficult position and smiled bitterly. "I'm not afraid of being laughed at, but I really look forward to Misaka Mikoto." In other words, Wu Yan said to Etsali indifferently, "You're here to declare your love rival?" No. Etsali quickly shook his head. As long as Misaka Mikoto can be happy, I'm satisfied. Then why are you looking for me? Wu Yan frowned. Don't tell me you're here to confirm my relationship with Mikoto? That's not it either. Etsali shook his head again, but this time, there was no longer any bitterness or gentleness on his face. What appeared on his face now was a cold expression. For Mr. to be able to obtain Misaka Mikoto's heart, this one is very envious and sincerely wishes Misaka Mikoto well. However, from what I know, Mr. seems to be entangled with other girls as well. Oh? Wu Yan laughed this time. In other words, you're here to fight for justice for Mikoto. You can say that. Etsali looked at Wu Yan expressionlessly. Compared to the gentle big brother image from before, the current Etsali seemed to have been corrupted. It's a bit sinister. I hope Misaka Mikoto can be happy. I don't want Misaka Mikoto to be hurt. If Mr. can promise me to cut off all contact with other girls, then I will leave this place. Wu Yan quietly waited for Etsali to finish speaking, then said indifferently, Is that all you want to say? Following his voice, Wu Yan's wine-red eyes stared at Etsali. An indescribable pressure suddenly enveloped Etsali's body. Then let me tell you, you'll be disappointed. Chapter 220. In a spacious alleyway, Etsali looked at Wu Yan, who was emitting a terrifying aura. Cold sweat started dripping down his forehead. He didn't even care about Wu Yan's, Let me tell you, you are going to be disappointed. His back was already soaked in cold sweat. Etsali resisted the urge to kneel down and tightly clenched his teeth. His heart was filled with shock. What's going on? Wasn't this person just an ordinary LV0 powerless? How can he have such a terrifying pressure? Who is he? What Etsali didn't know was that if he met Wu Yan an hour ago, he wouldn't have lost his composure like this. Because at that time, Wu Yan wouldn't be able to emit such a level of pressure. At least it wouldn't make a magician like Etsali have the urge to kneel. If Etsali came an hour earlier, he would have already made his move when he heard Wu Yan say, Let me tell you, you are about to be disappointed. Because at that time, Wu Yan didn't have the true ancestor bloodline. True ancestor bloodline. With this bloodline, Wu Yan can be considered a true ancestor in name only. Although he became a true ancestor, Wu Yan's level didn't increase. Originally, the true ancestors referred to those special vampires. They had great potential and could grow to the peak of existence. However, this did not mean that they had such great strength from the beginning. At the end of the day, true primogeniture is like the top of the food chain. They are there to intimidate the vampires of the same race. They aren't a symbol of strength. True primogenitors can reach the pinnacle of power in the end, but Wu Yan hasn't reached that level yet. Compared to other true ancestors, Wu Yan was undoubtedly much weaker. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was the weakest true ancestor. However, this didn't change the fact that Wu Yan was a true ancestor. No matter how weak he was still a true ancestor. Wu Yan also had the deterrence and pressure of a true ancestor. Therefore, it could only be said that Etsali really didn't come at the right time. His wine-red eyes emitted an evil aura. Wu Yan looked at Etsali, who was sweating profusely, and an ethereal voice rang in his ears. Mikoto, I'll make her happy. You don't have to worry about that. As for the other girls, I'm sorry, but I won't give up on them just because of your words. Originally, what you said sounded like you were being unreasonable. You said I'm unreasonable. Hearing Wu Yan's words, Etsali's eyes turned red. For a moment, he actually broke free from Wu Yan's pressure and shouted, You actually said that my idea of making Misaka Miss happy is unreasonable. That's right. Wu Yan didn't care about Etsali's twisted expression and continued, You think you can make Mikoto happy by doing this, but you don't think from her point of view. Let me ask you, when I was with the other girls, did you see Mikoto sad? Did you see Mikoto unhappy? Etsali was speechless at Wu Yan. He unwillingly shouted at Wu Yan, Then are you sure you can make her happy? You're the one who's fickle, how can Misaka Miss be happy? Hearing this, Wu Yan lightly shook his head. That's right, I'm fickle because my heart has already been divided by many girls. But even if it's divided, this part of my heart is still theirs. You're lying. Etsali angrily glared at Wu Yan. What about the fifth girl? What did she say? She's not your girlfriend, right? Why are you still entangled with her? Misaka Miss clearly hates her so much. That's why you're making trouble for no reason. Etzali's face was completely gloomy. He took a few deep breaths and stood up straight. His anger towards Wu Yan actually made him filter out Wu Yan's true ancestor pressure and recover. I really can't accept you. You can't bring happiness to Misaka, miss. Wu Yan laughed. Although it was a laugh, there was a hint of coldness in it, making it hard to believe that he was really laughing. He looked at Etzali and said softly, "Making trouble for no reason." As if the last straw that broke the camel's back, Etzali finally exploded after Wu Yan's making trouble for no reason speech. Feeling something coming in his direction, Wu Yan gently tilted his body to the side and let go of the trash bin behind him that almost disgusted him to death. At the same time, the trash bin suddenly exploded and rubbish covered the ground. Wu Yan frowned and looked at Etzali. At this time he was holding a strange-looking dagger in his hand. It was completely black and reflected a layer of arc light. It looked like the tip of a spear and it had a faint coldness to it. The spear of Torhuiska Gang Tikutori. No, it should be called a replica of the spear of Torhuiska Gang Tikutori. It had the ability to reflect the light of Venus and directly disintegrate the objects it shone on. Just now it was Etzali who suddenly used the obsidian dagger of Torhuiska Gang Tikutori to attack Wu Yan. It was completely with the intention of killing Wu Yan. Finally can't help but make a move? Magician. Etzali, who originally wanted to kill Wu Yan on the spot, was shocked by Wu Yan's words. He stopped what he was doing and asked involuntarily, "You? How do you know?" Wu Yan couldn't help but laugh as he shrugged. Is he supposed to tell him that he saw it on the screen? Why, Etzali, who knows? Etzali's face turned cold. He raised the obsidian dagger to his chest and moved it gently, as if he was looking for an opportunity to attack. You make me feel very surprised, Etzali said coldly. At the same time, his face was slowly filled with black fog as if he was really turning black. According to the information, you should be a powerless person who has nothing to do, a street thug. However, you are able to release such a terrifying aura and easily dodge the attack of the spear of Torhuiska Gang Tikutori. Even if it's just a replica, it's not something a powerless person can dodge. More importantly, Etzali's black face turned even colder. With such a background, you somehow managed to get in touch with Academy City's number 3, Misaka Mikoto, out of the blue. But according to our investigation, you've never had any contact with Misaka Mikoto before this. Who are you? Who am I? Wu Yan laughed and shook his head. From what you're saying, it seems like you've already started investigating me. You're asking me who I am, how laughable. Wu Yan. Etzali waved his obsidian dagger coldly. Your existence has exceeded our organization's understanding of Academy City. To prevent unforeseen events from happening, I will kill you today. As soon as he finished speaking, several invisible arcs of light shot towards Wu Yan at an incredible speed. His wine-red eyes glinted with a cold light. It's as if he can see these invisible arcs coming at him. He didn't move from his spot, he just tilted his body slightly and dodged them. His movements were very carefree and casual. Etzali seemed to have been provoked by this. He waved his obsidian dagger and countless arcs of light shot towards Wu Yan, sealing off all of Wu Yan's escape routes. Facing the barrage of bullets, Wu Yan stomped on the ground. Sparks of electricity appeared under his feet. Like a signal, a thick layer of iron sand rushed up from the ground and arrived in front of Wu Yan. Iron sand. Etzali's expression changed greatly, not because of how powerful the ability to manipulate iron sand was, but because he was too familiar with the ability to manipulate iron sand. Because this is Misaka Mikoto's ability. Chapter 221. The black iron sand that filled the sky seemed to have grown eyes as it danced in the air. The endless iron sand formed a wave-like barrier. As it surged, it completely blocked the attacks of the replica Torhuiska's spear of Tikutori in Etzali's hands. The formless arc hit the black wave, and at the same time the arc was blocked, the black iron sand also turned into dust and disappeared in the air. Wu Yan's eyes turned cold. As expected of the spear of Torhuiska. Even if it was just a replica, it still had powerful lethality. No matter who it was, if they were hit by it, they would not be able to come out unscathed, even if it was him. If it was before, Wu Yan would have to be careful. That kind of absolute decomposition power is too big of a threat to him. But now, with the true ancestor bloodline, Even if it's decomposed, he can recover in an instant. At most, he'll just have to enjoy the feeling of being cut into 1,000 pieces. Of course, only an idiot would enjoy the feeling of being cut into 1,000 pieces. Etzali stared blankly at the unscathed Wu Yan. He didn't care that his attack was ineffective. Guide, he asked. Why did you use her ability? Wu Yan stared at Etzali and sighed. So, from the start you didn't know anything. You even said that you want to give Makoto happiness. This time Etzali was silent. At the same time, there was a bit of jealousy in his eyes. That's right, he was jealous of Wu Yan. He was jealous that he could sit on a beauty. He was jealous that he could have the same ability as the person he admired. Logic told him that in this world there can't be the same ability. The other person's ability is just similar. But his intuition told him that he really didn't know anything. He didn't know why the other person could hide his identity so well. Even their organization couldn't get any specific information about him. He didn't know why the other person had the same ability as Misaka Makoto. And it was so strong. There were too many things that he didn't know. It made Etzali fearful. It wasn't because he was afraid of Wu Yan's mysteriousness. It was because he was afraid of his own ignorance. He was afraid. He was afraid that he really didn't know anything. He was afraid that he didn't know anything about the person he liked. He was afraid that he was being unreasonable because of his ignorance. Because Wu Yan's behavior already told him that he really didn't know anything. You bastard. The fear of the unknown made Etzali want to escape. He roared hysterically at Wu Yan, and waved the replica of Torwiska's gun of Tikutori towards Wu Yan. However, just as Etzali raised the replica of the spear of Torwiska above his shoulder, an orange beam shot out and shattered the replica into pieces before he could react. Etzali took 2 steps back in shock. He looked at Wu Yan, who was pointing a finger at him, and said in disbelief, Super Railgun. You can't believe it? Wu Yan said faintly. At the same time he took out another coin from his pocket and held it in his hand. Lightning flashed. Do you want to confirm it with your own eyes? Etzali felt a strange sense of danger lock onto his body. Even if he didn't want to believe it, he could only choose to believe it. His face slowly turned gray. Etzali weakly kneeled on the ground. His eyes were lifeless. I really didn't know anything. The coldness in his wine-red eyes was slowly retracted by Wu Yan. Wu Yan sighed. At this moment he felt that he was too evil. After all, this kind of confrontation was too much for Etzali. No matter what, the other party did it for Makoto's sake. Even if he felt a bit uncomfortable, he didn't have the right to stop someone from liking someone. He may be petty, but he wasn't that petty. Looking at Etzali, who had completely lost his will to fight, Wu Yan looked at him with pity. This person who couldn't express his feelings, whether it was in the original work or now, he was a pitiful person. Thinking up to here, Wu Yan didn't plan on interfering anymore. He turned around and slowly walked out. When he passed by Etzali, he suddenly raised his head and said to Wu Yan, Can you promise me to protect her forever? Hearing this, Wu Yan stopped in his tracks. In his heart he felt a bit helpless. In the original work, when Etzali was defeated by Tumei, he turned his feelings into a request. He asked Tumei to protect Makoto forever. Unfortunately, Tumei only saw Makoto as a friend. Makoto was too far away for LVL0 like him. Therefore he didn't know if it was just a casual remark or if it was something serious, but Tumei agreed. And now it's still the same thing. But the target is him. Wu Yan turned around and looked at Etzali. He sighed and said softly, You should take back what you just said, can't I agree? Etzali bitterly smiled. You're right. What right do I have to make such a request? Wu Yan shook his head and looked up at the sky. Looking at the incomparably blue sky, his voice softly echoed in this small empty alley. The bond between me and Makoto was formed a long time ago. It's so deep that it's incomprehensible to others. Wu Yan touched his chest and closed his eyes. He quietly listened to his own heartbeat. Because he knows from the day he summoned Makoto, their heartbeat has been at the same frequency. When there is still a place for us in this world, we will be together forever. When the world can no longer tolerate our existence, we will live and die together. Gently opening his eyes, Wu Yan's wine-red eyes were filled with tenderness that could melt space. It was as if he could see through the barrier of space and see the beauty in the distance. Our lives are intertwined. Protecting and whatnot is no longer a word that can maintain our bond. That's right, there's no need for that. For two people whose lives are intertwined with each other, the word protect doesn't mean much anymore. As long as Wu Yan doesn't die, then Mikoto Hinajiku Ikoros and Astria who are intertwined with him will never die. Wu Yan who has the true ancestor's bloodline is equivalent to having eternal life. Those who are intertwined with his life will accompany him forever. Since a long time ago, none of them could leave each other because their lives were fused together. Is there a need to protect and whatnot? Atsali listened to Wu Yan's words in a daze. His consciousness sank into an abyss from which he can never escape. Because in front of Wu Yan's words he felt his own heart was so small. Perhaps this would be the best ending for him. Atsali smiled as if a burden has been lifted from his shoulders. His eyes are no longer lifeless, the black mist on his face has disappeared, revealing the face he stole from Mikoto. His smile is as bright as the sun, as if he was relieved. In his heart, all his thoughts turned into a single sentence. I wish you both happiness. In a place Wu Yan and Atsali can't see, in the corner of an empty alley, Mikoto is leaning against a cold wall. Her back is cold but her heart is warm. Beside her there's a face that looks exactly like Atsali. To be precise, it's the real owner of this face, the real Haihara Mitsuki. He looked at Mikoto, who suddenly closed her eyes and touched her chest with a mesmerizing smile on her face. Mikoto's face blushed as she recalled Wu Yan's words. She clutched her chest tightly and said in a soft voice, "It's hard to tell if it's joy or dissatisfaction." "Idiot. You actually said something so embarrassing." Mikoto looked at Haihara Mitsuki, who was staring at her blankly. She blushed again and said in a dissatisfied tone, "What are you looking at? Let's go." Haihara Mitsuki paused and said in surprise, "Aren't we going to catch that imposter?" Mikoto walked away, leaving only her voice in Haihara Mitsuki's ears. "He will take care of everything." Chapter 222. Hearing Atsali say, "I wish you all happiness" in such a relaxed tone, Wu Yan smiled. This is another almost perfect ending, isn't it? Mama, looks like it's over, meow. Wu Yan's expression turned serious. He immediately turned his head towards the source of the voice. There, another familiar figure that he has only seen on screen slowly walked out from the shadows and stopped in front of Wu Yan. Seeing this figure, Wu Yan was stunned. He was a bit speechless. This is more and more like the original plot, except the main character is himself. He has short blonde hair like a leech, he's wearing a flowery shirt and shorts, light blue sunglasses on his face and a golden chain around his neck. His arms look especially long, almost reaching his knees. He's also very tall. He looks like a hoodlum. Tsuchimikado Motoharu. Looking at the Kyushu accent in front of him and the cute sound of meow at the end of his sentence, he looks like a comedian. Wu Yan was also in disbelief. On the surface he's Toho's neighbor and classmate, but he's also one of Toho's bad friends. Together with Toho and blue hair earrings, they're called the Idiot Trio, and he's also a serious siscon Tsuchimikado Motoharu. In reality he's a double agent for Academy City and the British Puritan Church of Necessary Evil. At the same time he's also a multiple agent for many organizations. In order to obtain victory he's willing to taste blood, lie to everyone, betray the whole world, and even go against human nature. But in reality he's an existence that protects the balance of the world he lives in. So this is the guy. Looking at Tsuchimikado Motoharu, who still has a hoodlum smile on his face, Wu Yan suddenly felt like he's been deceived by the world. He really can't connect the complicated Tsuchimikado Motoharu in the original work with this guy in front of him. It's not that they don't look alike, but seeing him in real life, Wu Yan really can't help but want to beat him up. Other than the glasses guy, this is another person that Wu Yan really feels like he needs to beat up. Tsuchimikado Motoharu didn't know that he's already on Wu Yan's list of people that need to be beaten up. He smiled at Atsali, then looked at Wu Yan and said to Wu Yan in a tone that needs to be beaten up. "Yo, that little bro over there, meow. Can you let me deal with the person next to you, meow?" Wu Yan took a deep look at Tsuchimikado Motoharu and sighed and said so. "Even though I have nothing to lose by letting you deal with him, and it just so happens that I don't know how to deal with him. Now that you're here, you've solved my problem." Tsuchimikado Motoharu's smile widened when he heard Wu Yan's words. However, Wu Yan's next sentence froze Tsuchimikado Motoharu's smile. Glancing at Tsuchimikado Motoharu, Wu Yan shrugged. "But I have a change." "Why?" Tsukimikaze Motoharu's smile had already disappeared. With his status, it was easy for him to investigate Itzali's background. Since the other party was able to defeat Itzali, then he must be very strong. He might even be level 5. So if possible, Tsuchimikado Motoharu doesn't want to fight him. But taking Itzali away is necessary for him, so if Wu Yan doesn't want to hand him over, he can only run away. Just as Tsuchimikado Motoharu was about to run away when Wu Yan made his move, Wu Yan's next sentence made him stumble. Like a tiger pouncing on its prey, or a dog fighting for its food, he fell to the ground. Because you're really asking for a beating. Tsuchimikado Motoharu climbed up from the ground, and covered his nose that hurt from the fall and said to Wu Yan in a weird tone. Just because of this, Miao? Just because of this. How did I offend you, Miao? How did you not offend me? Hearing this, Tsuchimikado Motoharu fell silent. After a while he half knelt on the ground, his whole body turned white, and a gust of wind blew him away. Wu Yan looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu with satisfaction, and his heart echoed with evil laughter. Seems like Wu Yan is quite proud of himself for defeating Tsuchimikado Motoharu. After a while, Tsuchimikado Motoharu stood up shakily and weakly raised his arm and said in a daze, "Please let me deal with that person, Miao." "Well, do as you wish," Wu Yan said with a smile. Hearing Wu Yan compromise so quickly with Tsuchimikado Motoharu's intelligence, how could he not know that the other party is playing with him? Does he know me? Tsuchimikado Motoharu looked suspiciously at Wu Yan. He really can't remember when he met such a person. But if he says he doesn't know him, the other party seems to know him so well, and the blow to him was so thorough. Since he couldn't understand, Tsuchimikado Motoharu didn't think about it anymore. He walked in front of Itzali and said something to him. Itzali's face was gloomy and uncertain. Finally he nodded as if he agreed to something. Seeing Itzali nod, Tsuchimikado Motoharu's pale face regained a bit of a smile, but that smile made Wu Yan want to give him another blow. "Little bro over there, thank you very much, Miao." Tsuchimikado Motoharu thanked Wu Yan with a grin. Then he used a strange tone to tell Wu Yan that he didn't know what he was talking about. To be able to defeat this person over here, it seems that little brother's strength is not ordinary. Hearing this, Wu Yan immediately looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu warily. He didn't dare forget that this annoying person in front of him had the reputation of backstabbing. If he wasn't careful, he would be betrayed so badly that even his own mother wouldn't recognize him. Wu Yan warned him. "You're asking for a beating, what the hell are you up to?" Tsuchimikado Motoharu's smile froze and he forced a smile. "Miao, little brother, you're joking, Miao. What could I be planning?" Wu Yan curled his lips in disdain. "Who knows?" Tsuchimikado Motoharu didn't say anything. Under his sunglasses, his eyes were fixed on Wu Yan, and his heart was filled with a sense of seriousness and curiosity about Wu Yan. With his special identity, if he wanted to investigate a person's background, it would be very difficult for him not to know. However, the person in front of him had made his intelligence network completely useless. An ordinary identity, a sloppy life, and a hooligan with nothing to do. This was everything that Tsuchimikado Motoharu knew about Wu Yan. But now, the other party had completely shattered the understanding he had of him in his heart. Not to mention other things, just the fact that he was strong enough to defeat Itzali was enough to shatter his understanding of him. Wu Yan was actually helpless in his heart. He didn't expect to meet this Tsuchimikado Motoharu, and in a situation where his strength was exposed, with the other party's identity, it was possible that his own strength could no longer be kept a secret. Just as this thought popped up in their minds, a familiar figure suddenly appeared in front of them for the third time, breaking the strange atmosphere at the scene. Seeing this person, Wu Yan and Tsuchimikado Motoharu's eyes narrowed. The difference was that Wu Yan's eyes had a trace of seriousness and helplessness, while Tsuchimikado Motoharu's eyes flashed, as if he had thought of something. The person who came was a girl. Her red hair was tied into 2 bundles at the back of her head. Her winter uniform was draped over her shoulders, and her upper body was completely exposed. There was only a light pink strip of cloth wrapped around her breasts like a bandage, squeezing out a deep ravine on her breasts. Her breasts were a very revealing miniskirt, as if as long as she bent down she would be able to see the beautiful scenery inside. It was very sexy, and there was a belt around her waist that could only be used as an accessory. This kind of clothing looked like it was purposely designed to lure people to commit a crime. When he saw this figure, it was the same as when Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Itzali appeared. Wu Yan almost immediately recognized her identity. Yubiao Danshi. Chapter 223. Tsuchimikado Motoharu. Tsuchimikado Danshi. Tali. Other than Accelerator, all the surface operatives of Academy City's Black Ops organization group are here. Looking at these 3 surface operatives of the future Academy City's Black Ops group, Wu Yan felt a bit helpless. He didn't expect to meet so many awesome people after getting played around by that Yuri creature. Should I say as expected of a main character's physique? A troublemaker's constitution. Yes, from the moment Tsuchimikado Danshi appeared, Wu Yan knew he was in trouble. Who is Tsuchimikado Danshi? She's the strongest spatial ability user in Academy City. Unlike Kuriko, she can move objects through space without touching them. The future Tsuchimikado Danshi aside, the current Tsuchimikado Danshi has a special identity due to her ability. The guide. She's responsible for bringing the chairman of Academy City, the person Alistair wants to meet, into the windowless building. Now that Tsuchimikado Danshi is here, it means, you're Wu Yan? Tsuchimikado Danshi didn't look at Tsuchimikado Motoharu or at Sali. Instead she looked at Wu Yan. She hasn't experienced the remains incident yet, so she didn't show any signs of joining Academy City's Black Ops organization. Naturally, she doesn't care about the double agent and magician here. Looking at Tsuchimikado Danshi, who's as revealing as Ikaros and Astria in their light armor, for the first time Wu Yan thought girls shouldn't come knocking on his door. However, Wu Yan didn't have much resistance against meeting Alistair. He knew his battery barrier ability would only last for a short while. With Alistair's intellect, when the hovering loop had lost its effect, he had probably been secretly setting up a trap to lure him out. Perhaps everything that had happened today was his doing. That's why Wu Yan prepared himself for today's arrival. He just didn't think this day would come so soon. Glancing at the nonchalant Tsuchimikado Danshi, Wu Yan said softly, "Alistair wants to see me?" When he said that, all 3 of them were stunned. Hasuki immediately put away her nonchalant expression, and together with Tsuchimikado Motoharu, they looked at Wu Yan with a serious expression. Meow bro, you even know that person Meow? Looks like you're not simple Meow. The 3 meows conveyed the shock in their hearts. They can feel how casual Wu Yan is when he mentioned the name that struck fear in their hearts. It was as if he didn't put the name Alistair in his eyes. Actually, Wu Yan is quite wary of Alistair. But Alistair doesn't have the qualifications to make him, a transmigrator, feel fearful of him. Yes, the chairman wants to see you. Her respectful tone showed how unsettled she was. The fact that he could so casually mention the name she feared meant that the person in front of her wasn't someone she could afford to provoke. That's fine too. Wu Yan took a few steps forward and stopped in front of Seiki. Looking at her slightly cowering eyes, he whispered, "Gratitude and grudges will be settled once and for all." His voice was as soft as a mosquito's, but when it reached the ears of the 3 people present, it was no less than a heavy bomb. "Hey bro, don't tell me you're planning to have a falling out with that person?" Even the word meow was ignored by Tsuchimikado Motoharu. This proved how shocked he was in his heart. When Wu Yan heard Tsuchimikado Motoharu's words, he sighed faintly. "If we were to have a falling out, we would have done so a long time ago." That one sentence scared the 3 of them. They didn't expect Wu Yan to have a falling out with that person. Wu Yan wasn't lying. Ever since he stole the first Misaka's sister and ruined Alistair's plan, they had a falling out. Tsuchimikado Danshi, Tsuchimikado Motoharu, and Atsali were shocked by Wu Yan's words, but they weren't stupid. Tsuchimikado Motoharu quickly stood up and said to Wu Yan, "I say bro, if it's possible, it's better if you don't get into too much trouble with that person. You know, this is Academy City. If you get into too much trouble with that person, it won't do anyone any good." Wu Yan looked at Tsuchimikado Motoharu with a faint smile. "Do you think I'm afraid of Academy City?" Wu Yan ignored Azali, Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Atsali's reactions. He laughed and shook his head. "If it wasn't for that person by Alistair's side, I wouldn't have had to play so many tricks with him. That person, existence." Tsuchimikado Danshi, Tsuchimikado Motoharu and Atsali's hearts were in turmoil. The 3 of them trembled and were speechless. How could the 3 of them not understand the meaning behind Wu Yan's words? The chairman of Academy City seems to have some hidden trump card. They can feel that if they continue to listen, they will come into contact with the deepest secrets of Alistair's heart. What he didn't know is that his words have already caused the three people here to be unable to calm down for a long time. Maybe if he knew, Wu Yan would be secretly pleased with himself, who knows? Tsuchimikado Motoharu took a few deep breaths and threw away all the complicated thoughts in his heart. His eyes under the sunglasses looked deeply at Wu Yan. Then Tsuchimikado Motoharu took a few steps forward. Little bro, I don't know how deep your background is to be able to say that you're not afraid of Academy City, but I can feel that what you're saying isn't false. That's why I'm begging you, please don't fall out with that existence. I'm counting on you. Hearing Tsuchimikado Motoharu's tone that lost its meow sound and sounded very solemn and sincere, Wu Yan's heart was slightly uncomfortable. He also knows why Tsuchimikado Motoharu would say such words and even use the word request. In his heart, perhaps he has already become an existence that is not inferior to Alistair. If he falls out with Alistair, then when the two of them fight, it will definitely implicate a lot of people. As the saying goes, when immortals fight, mortals suffer. When that happens, Tsuchimikado Motoharu's wish to protect the balance of his world will be completely shattered. Perhaps Tsuchimikado Motoharu thinks that he is on the same level as Alistair. With his own strength, he might not be able to stop the consequences of the two immortals fighting. That's why he said that. However, Wu Yan bitterly smiled in his heart. Tsuchimikado Motoharu thinks that his relationship with Alistair can be eased, but he doesn't know that from another point of view, the two of them can't be eased. If Alistair wants to carry out his plan, then the existence of his sisters is absolutely indispensable. Wu Yan, on the other hand, will not allow Alistair to use the sisters like he did before, using them as tools. This is a fundamental conflict of interest. How can it be eased? In other words, unless one of them gives up, Wu Yan and Alistair won't be able to get along peacefully. Tsuchimikado Motoharu's hope of easing the tension from his side is unrealistic. His wine-red eyes stared at Tsuchimikado Motoharu. Tsuchimikado Motoharu fearlessly looked back at Wu Yan. Wu Yan knows that if he doesn't give him an answer, then this unscrupulous backstabber, for the sake of peace in his heart, wouldn't hesitate to overestimate himself and stab him twice. Without a plan in mind, Wu Yan can only turn 1,000 words into a single sentence. I'll try my best. Chapter 224. Academy City, School District 7. Below a windowless building. Located near the center of School District 7, the building is so strange and eye-catching, but next to this building there are no signs of life. It's like no one has visited this place for hundreds of years. Located in the center of School District 7, there's not a single person around the windowless building. It's like this place will forever be peaceful. But today this place is destined to be chaotic. A male and female figure suddenly appeared in front of the building, adding a bit of liveliness to this place that's usually classified as an absolute paradise. The ones who appeared here are naturally Wu Yan, who came to meet Alistair, and Jiubiao Danshi, who's in charge of leading the way. Looking up at this strange building, a stream of data flashed through his eyes. Wu Yan's face froze. He was speechless for a long time. Strange sealed building, level 50. Speechless. This is the second time he's seen an item with a level. The first time was in the world of Butler Whirlwind's world, the wall in the Yaoma cave. The second time is this building in front of him. The wall is fine, after all. No matter how it's a wall, it's still a monster. It's understandable that it has a level, but what's with this building? Is it also a monster? And it's at level 50. Wu Yan's heart was filled with doubts. He suddenly had the urge to slash this building open to see what it's made of. No wonder Accelerator couldn't hurt it in the original work. Even if he was retarded at that time, he could still take care of other LV5 monsters. It seems like the reason Accelerator couldn't touch this building in the original work wasn't just because of Alistair's methods. It might be because this building itself is special. On the side, Jiubiao Danshi quietly waited. She didn't dare to rush Wu Yan. The current Wu Yan is no less than a scourge to her. Of course, Wu Yan saw Jiubiao Danshi's fear. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't want to be associated with that old fox, Alistair, but she put him on the same level as Alistair. Wu Yan looked at this so-called strange sealed building again. He really can't tell if it's alive like the wall. Since he can't figure it out, Wu Yan didn't want to think anymore. He put a hand on Jiubiao Danshi's shoulder. Her body unconsciously trembled. This made Wu Yan speechless to the extreme. This courage, just like in the original work, It's the opposite of Jubiao Danqi's great heart. What a small heart. When he really faced Alistair, Wu Yan's heart was filled with calmness. He didn't know if it was because he had seen this on the screen too many times, or if it was because Wu Yan was already prepared, or if it was because of the influence of the true ancestor's bloodline. After Jubiao Danqi brought Wu Yan in, she immediately ran away in a sorry state. To her, these two fierce tigers could bite at any time. They could kill her with a single roar. The sci-fi atmosphere around them couldn't attract Wu Yan's attention anymore. His wine-red eyes were locked on the figure floating in the culture tank. He didn't make a sound for a long time. Alistair didn't speak, so Wu Yan just looked at him quietly. Both of them fell into a strange silence, each having their own thoughts. Wu Yan didn't know what Alistair was thinking, but he felt that if he spoke first he would be weaker. After an indeterminate amount of time, just as Wu Yan was starting to get impatient, Alistair finally opened his mouth. His mechanical voice spread gently from the surrounding space into Wu Yan's ears, causing Wu Yan, who didn't even blink, to be startled. Almost none of the people who came here were not surprised by my existence. Sir, you seem to be much calmer than I imagined. When he heard this, Wu Yan smiled faintly and glanced at Alistair's floating body with a faint disdain in his heart. Of course, he wouldn't tell Alistair that he had already seen his existence on the screen countless times. You must be joking, Chairman. I am actually very surprised as well. Wu Yan didn't know what Alistair was thinking, even though he didn't believe his own words. Getting Alistair to reveal his thoughts on his unchanging face was harder than ascending to the heavens. So that's how it is. Alistair said softly, I can't see much surprise on your face. Wu Yan smiled and looked at Alistair. In this aspect, I still need to learn a lot from you, Chairman. That would be an honor. Alistair said, like he wanted to continue this conversation with Wu Yan, but a faint pressure came from the space, letting Wu Yan know that this is the real show. Sir, you have brought me a lot of trouble. When he heard Alistair's words, Wu Yan knew that Alistair already knew that he was the hunter, the one who stole the sisters. Wu Yan didn't want to ask how Alistair found out about him. Wherever he went, there would be traces left behind. It's not like he didn't go out all day, and his reputation has already spread through the entire Academy City School District 7 because of Mikoto and Shokuhu Misaki's relationship. With too many flaws, it would be strange if Alistair didn't discover him. No, you're wrong. Wu Yan stared at Alistair with his wine-red eyes. An indescribable glint flashed through his eyes. The one who brings trouble to others will always be you, Alistair, not others. When he heard Wu Yan's words, Alistair's floating body stopped and returned to normal. Sir, you seem to know a lot of things. It's not that I know a lot. Wu Yan said lightly, it's just that if it's something related to you, you should at least know a little about it to avoid being kept in the dark. Sir, you must be joking. Originally, the birth of the military clones was Mikoto's own idea. How could it have anything to do with concealing? Oh? Wu Yan sneered and said, if that's the case, then I think Mikoto won't be disturbed by unknown people anymore, right? Alistair fell silent. Then the mechanical noise of an ancient well rang out once more. As long as Sir can fulfill my request. As long as your request isn't too excessive. Alistair went silent again, and after a long time he said, I don't understand, sir. Why would you take such a strong stance for some scientific product? Wu Yan's eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Alistair. The pressure of a true ancestor spread from Wu Yan's body to the entire space. You will never understand. Alistair fixed his gaze on Wu Yan. Who knows if he felt the pressure from Wu Yan's body, but he stared at the pair of wine-red eyes expressionlessly. Until, since Sir doesn't want to compromise, then I have no choice but to be rude. As soon as Alistair's voice fell, the originally calm space suddenly began to fluctuate with a bang. Like boiling water, thick ripples began to form. A terrifying aura came out of nowhere and locked onto Wu Yan's body. Wu Yan's body stiffened and all his muscles tensed up on reflex. A wild alarm sounded in Wu Yan's mind, telling Wu Yan how bad his situation was right now. Wu Yan clenched his teeth, his wine-red eyes turned golden as he gathered all his strength to resist the terrifying aura coming from Alistair. He met Alistair's gaze head-on without any fear. This scene continued for an unknown period of time. Perhaps it was a moment, or perhaps it was a lifetime. Finally, another wave of fluctuation came from a certain corner of this space. Chapter 225. Alistair and Wu Yan looked at each other quietly. Neither of them spoke, but the space around them was no longer as silent as usual. Instead, it was rippling violently like water. Relying on the full power of the true ancestor bloodline, Wu Yan's originally wine-red pupils had turned golden. There were only two possibilities for such a situation to occur. First, the blood-sucking impulse exclusive to the true ancestor bloodline had erupted. Unable to control one's desire to suck blood, one's pupils would turn golden. However, Wu Yan's blood-sucking impulse had long been purified by the white fruit of cleansing. Therefore, such a situation would never occur to him again. The second possibility for the pupils to turn golden was to activate the power of the true ancestor bloodline. Erupting with full power, the true ancestor bloodline was used to the extreme. At this moment, Wu Yan was in such a situation. However, even if Wu Yan activated the true ancestor bloodline to the extreme, he still couldn't completely cancel out that inexplicable eruption of aura that was locked onto him. Such a powerful aura was not something Alistair could achieve by himself. Therefore, it was obvious who the owner of this aura was. That Alistair used his wife as a sacrifice to summon an angel that was different from the one recorded in the Bible. Suddenly, in a corner of the space where Wu Yan and Alistair were already fluctuating, the fluctuations began to condense purposefully. Like a black hole, it spiraled and absorbed, causing Wu Yan's mind to tremble. An extremely resplendent light shot out from the condensed black hole. With the momentum of a sharp arrow, it violently attacked Wu Yan, whose pupils had already shrunk to the size of needles. Danger. Extreme danger. Things went wrong. He would die once. Such a thought rose from Wu Yan's heart almost as soon as the light shot out. At the same time, the light had already arrived in front of Wu Yan. Wu Yan's heart gradually calmed down as he faced the incoming light. He knew that he wouldn't be able to dodge this light attack. However, this did not mean that Wu Yan had given up resisting and was prepared to welcome his own death. With the true ancestor bloodline, Wu Yan could not die at all. Moreover, Wu Yan did not only have the true ancestor bloodline as his trump card. The destructive aura of light smashed into Wu Yan's body. It was certain that once the attack took effect, Wu Yan's chest would definitely open up a huge hole. However, when the light hit Wu Yan's body, a strange ripple suddenly spread out from Wu Yan's body. It was like a sound wave sticking close to Wu Yan's body and spreading out bit by bit. A light, ethereal sound accompanied by static was heard when the ripple spread out from Wu Yan's body. Alistair, who was in the culture tank, froze. He knew that the owner of the sound would not make a sound for no reason. The only possibility was that his attack was ineffective. The formless ripples collided with the beam of light. In the next second, both the ripples and the beam of light actually disappeared without a trace. Wu Yan heaved a sigh of relief. Drinking the resplendent breath before coming had been the right choice. Alistair looked at the unscathed Wu Yan with an expressionless face. However, if one looked closely, they would discover that small bubbles were forming in the liquid around him. Following the disappearance of the light and the ripples, an ethereal noise that had just been heard reverberated in this space. How did you do that? Wu Yan's heart froze, but his mouth was full of mockery. Do you want me to explain to the person who wanted to kill me how I survived? The owner of the voice, I spoke with a faint static sound. Indeed, I shouldn't have asked that question. However, I can roughly guess that you relied on external help to block my attack, right? I don't know. Perhaps I relied on my own strength? No. You don't have that strength. I said without holding back. Of course, Wu Yan didn't care. Perhaps he couldn't stand Wu Yan's indifference. He disappeared, but his voice rang in Wu Yan's ears. If I'm not wrong, there should be a time limit to your current state. Wu Yan's heart shook as he secretly admired I. As expected of the boss of Magic Seal, his observation skills and strength are truly terrifying. Wu Yan didn't try to hide it and nodded. That's right. I can probably only drink tea and chat with you guys before the time limit is up. In other words, there is still time to drink tea and chat with you guys. Seems like that is the case. At this moment, Alistair suddenly spoke. However, relying on external help is still relying on external help. I think even if I can't restrain you in a short period of time, it should be easy to trap you without harming you. As long as I trap you and wait for the time limit to arrive then. Following Alistair's words, A familiar yet unfamiliar aura once again enveloped Wu Yan and locked him in place. After hearing Alistair's words, Wu Yan laughed in disdain. A crystal-like scroll appeared in Wu Yan's hand in the blink of an eye. Wu Yan sneered at Alistair and said coldly, "You can try, maybe you can really make me stay." Alistair narrowed his eyes and went silent. He looked at the crystal scroll in Wu Yan's hand with an indescribable expression. Then he looked at Wu Yan as if he wanted to see something from his face. Alistair was disappointed. All he could see was Wu Yan's calm and confident face. "I didn't expect you to have so many tricks up your sleeve." Playing with the return scroll in his hand, Wu Yan smiled. "Don't mock me for relying on external help. Didn't you use all the external help you can use as well?" Alistair didn't care about Wu Yan's sarcasm and suddenly said, "It seems like we can't make you stay." Wu Yan calmly listened to Alistair's words. However, Alistair's next sentence made Wu Yan unable to calm down. "However, I wonder if your little girlfriends have as many tricks up their sleeves?" Killing intent flashed in his golden eyes. Wu Yan forced himself to calm down. However, the more he forced himself to calm down, the angrier he became. Wu Yan's body, which was strengthened by his ascension to primogeniture, almost got burned to ashes. Alistair, on the other hand, acted as if he didn't see anything and continued, "Even if your excellency's little girlfriends have the same external power as your excellency, I can still issue a warrant for your arrest to the entire Academy City. Perhaps you don't have a lot of connections and can ignore the bounty of Academy City with your own strength. However, from what I know, Misaka Mikoto is the exact opposite of you. He has a lot of connections." His pupils shrank. Originally, there was only a trace of killing intent in his eyes. However, due to Alistair's provocation, the killing intent in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. Alistair, on the other hand, felt like his words weren't clear enough, so he continued. "Misaka Mikoto is someone who values her friendship a lot. If Academy City places a bounty on her, then the people she values will take action against her under the protection of Academy City." A thick blood-red aura began to climb up Wu Yan's body. Wu Yan lowered his head so his expression couldn't be seen. "When that happens, Misaka Mikoto will fight against her beloved Academy City together with you. She will fight against the people she values and kill each other." Chapter 226. Following Alistair's emotionless voice, Wu Yan finally couldn't suppress the anger and killing intent in his heart and exploded. A thick blood-red aura covered his body. Wu Yan fiercely raised his head. A pair of golden pupils stared at Alistair's body like a ferocious beast. With a flip of his hand, a light flashed and a transparent longbow shaped like a wing, completely black as ink with starlight flickering within it, appeared in Wu Yan's hands. Wu Yan raised it up. "Draw the bow." When Wu Yan made this move, the brilliance between heaven and earth, like bees that saw bees, turned into shaped starlight, suffused with a faint silver glow and madly gathered towards Wu Yan's hands. The moment heaven and earth lost their color, Iwasa's aura that originally filled every corner of this space was suddenly torn apart like paper, and was replaced by the terrifying aura emitted from the elegant longbow in Wu Yan's hands. Alistair's face that had remained unchanged for 10,000 years finally began to fluctuate slowly. Although the range was very small, it was simply inconceivable for this face that had never shown any clear emotions before. As for Iwa's, there was still no trace of him at the scene. Only behind Alistair's culture tank, a faint figure flashed there. The aura around his body was extremely dense. Starlight as bright as the Milky Way gradually gathered on the transparent, elegant longbow. As more and more starlight was added, a glittering silver arrow appeared on the bow of Meteor Knight, and in Wu Yan's hands. An extreme sense of danger rushed into Alistair's heart. Starlight swam around Meteor Knight and the silver arrow, rendering them like comets in the night sky, beautiful and powerful. The golden pupils under his bangs slowly raised, facing Alistair in the culture tank. Wu Yan said softly, "Try it, Alistair." Wu Yan's meaning was clear. He wanted Alistair to try what he said just now and put them on the wanted list. With Alistair's decisive personality, if Wu Yan said that just now, he wouldn't hesitate to put them on the wanted list, forcing the sentimental Mikoto to commit the crime, and then slowly eliminate Wu Yan and find the Misaka sister. But at this moment he hesitated. The reason was the arrow in Wu Yan's hand that was aimed at him, and the aura of death that came from his heart. The situation was completely reversed. The one who was threatening him became the one being threatened. And the person who was threatened became the target of the threat. Moreover, the threat was successful. Alistair's eyes flickered. How many years has it been since he felt death so close to him? To think that there would be a day when he would be threatened by someone. You better think it through. While Alistair was hesitating, I was used some unknown method to let his voice ring in Alistair's mind. Alistair's eyes narrowed and he thought to himself, could it be that even you don't have the confidence to block that Bao's attack? Bao's was silent for a moment as if he was thinking, and then he said, I have the confidence to block that Bao's attack, but I don't have the confidence to not get hurt. Alistair's heart shook and he couldn't respond for a long time. Bao seemed to know that under Alistair's calm exterior, his heart was shaken, so he said directly in his mind. That Bao is extremely dangerous. It gives me the feeling that even the legendary Angel Slayer's sword is on the same level. Plus, he has an inexplicable defense on his body. I have no way to stop him. If I get hit by his attack, getting hurt would only be a light injury. As for you, I can't protect you. This time, Alistair was completely silent. Seeing Alistair's silence, Wu Yan's eyes flashed with anger, and the arrow in his hand pulled back again, and the arrow in his hand was fully drawn. Feeling Wu Yan's actions, the death aura in his heart became thicker, and Alistair couldn't stay silent anymore. Don't force me. If someone who knew Alistair heard this, their jaw would hit the floor, but Wu Yan understood Alistair's meaning. He still hasn't given up on his plan, even if death is so close to him. In other words, if I really force him, he wouldn't mind dying together with me. Wu Yan gritted his teeth. He wanted to release the arrow several times, but he couldn't make up his mind to let go. He really didn't think that under the threat of death, Alistair still hasn't given up on his ambition. Is his plan that important? If possible, Wu Yan really doesn't want to come to this point, because if Academy City loses Alistair, then it will definitely welcome the army of the magic faction in an instant. To put it bluntly, the entire Academy City is supported by Alistair alone, and if Alistair dies, then it will be the end of Academy City. At that time, Mikoto, Kuriko, Waharu, Ruko, and the others, even if Wu Yan can take them away from this world, but to watch Academy City's population of 3 million, 80% of the students and children die because of his actions, Wu Yan really can't do anything. At this time, Wu Yan couldn't help but think of Tsuchimikado Motoharu's words. If possible, it's better to not have a falling out with Alistair. But the sisters. Suddenly Wu Yan had a flash of inspiration. Alistair only wants the AIM field that originally only existed in Academy City, to be able to cover the whole world, not the sisters themselves. If he can make AIM spread to the whole world, then he and Alistair won't have a direct conflict of interest. As for how to make AIM's field spread to the whole world, he has the system item, so what's there to worry about? Field Amplifier, a special tool for virtual fields. It can expand an invisible field infinitely according to the multiplier requirement. 100,000 item points. After finding what he needed, Wu Yan took a deep breath and put down Meteor Shower. Following Wu Yan's action, the silver arrow turned into a sky full of stars and disappeared. Seeing Wu Yan suddenly put down that terrifying bow, Alistair's eyes flashed. He didn't expect Wu Yan to do this. Did he compromise? Alistair. Wu Yan looked at Alistair and said in a deep voice, "You want me to give up the sisters? That's impossible." Alistair didn't say anything after hearing that. With Wu Yan's resistance, he would be surprised if he suddenly agreed to give up the sisters. He knew that Wu Yan must have something else to say. Coldly looking at Alistair and the golden figure behind him, Wu Yan said indifferently, "Isn't your goal to spread the AIM field in Academy City to the whole world? I have a way." Wu Yan felt the aura around Alistair change when he said that, but his face didn't change at all. Wu Yan admired his calmness. Alistair stared at Wu Yan for a while. With a flip of his hand, Wu Yan put Meteor Shower back into his space ring. His golden eyes turned back to wine red as he stared at Alistair. Both sides fell into silence again. After a while, Alistair said, "If you can really do it." Hearing this, Wu Yan smiled. He knew that he won again. After an unknown amount of time, Qiao Biao Danqi appeared again. She looked at Alistair with fear, then at Wu Yan with an even more fearful gaze. She cautiously and conscientiously led Wu Yan out. With Wu Yan's departure, The space fell into silence once more. That unchanging figure looked at the field amplification device not far away and he started mumbling to himself. An unknown pressure, a terrifying weapon and a miraculous tool. What kind of existence are you? Chapter 227. Academy City School District 7. Under a windowless building, Wu Yan breathed a sigh of relief when Jiubiao Danqi brought him out of Alistair's room. Alistair's room was magical but also depressing. Alistair was probably the only one who could stay in there for a long time without suffocating. Anyway, with Wu Yan's personality he wouldn't stay in there for too long. I'm really bored to death. Wu Yan sighed, looking at the cowering Jiubiao Danqi. He sighed again. He's being hated by a girl. Wu Yan rolled his eyes and rubbed his chin. He suddenly reached out and caressed Jiubiao Danqi's face. Shocked, she subconsciously tried to dodge, but Wu Yan's hand that was caressing her face had already pinched her delicate chin, making it impossible for her to escape. Looking at Jiubiao Danqi's pretty face, Wu Yan chuckled and lifted her chin. His face slowly moved closer to hers. You seem afraid of me, Wu Yan said softly. His face was only a finger's distance away from Jiubiao Danqi's face. He could even see the sweat on her nose. Jiubiao Danqi's eyes flickered. She met Wu Yan's wine-red eyes and turned her head away unnaturally. No. Wu Yan moved closer just a little bit more and their lips would touch. Then why don't you dare look at me? His face is so close to hers that she started panicking. She wanted to dodge, but her chin is being gripped tightly by the other party. She wanted to run, but she's afraid that Wu Yan will get angry. For Jiubiao Danqi, Wu Yan was scarier than Alistair. At least Alistair wouldn't tease her like this. Seeing Wu Yan's face getting closer and closer, Jiubiao Danqi resigned herself to her fate and closed her eyes, waiting for her first kiss to come. Time passed little by little. Jiubiao Danqi was waiting. Seconds felt like days and days felt like years. She waited for a long time, but her lips were not captured by him. She couldn't help but open her eyes to check the situation. She saw Wu Yan's wine-red eyes filled with laughter. Why are you closing your eyes? Wu Yan held back his laughter and asked Jiubiao Danqi teasingly. He seemed to be asking the obvious. Jiubiao Danqi froze and stuttered. As it is, don't you want to? What do I want to do? When he heard Jiubiao Danqi's stuttering words, Wu Yan's smile deepened and the corners of his mouth lifted. Jiubiao Danqi didn't realize that Wu Yan was teasing her. He was a complete idiot. She awkwardly looked away, not daring to look at Wu Yan again. Seeing this, Wu Yan couldn't help but chuckle. He nodded in satisfaction as if he's happy that he's the one who created this situation. He loosened his grip on Jiubiao Danqi's chin. Jiubiao Danqi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. She teleported away without looking back. Recalling the overbearing yet cowardly Kaneki in the original work as well as the little girly Kaneki that he teased just now, Wu Yan felt a sense of accomplishment. At this time Wu Yan's phone rang. Before Wu Yan could answer the call, the phone picked up on its own. Alistair's voice could be heard from the other end of the line. I forgot to tell you, final production ran away last night. What did you say? Wu Yan was shocked. He wasn't shocked that final opus ran away, he was shocked by what happened after she ran away. As expected, Alistair quickly pointed out Wu Yan's worries. Final production was taken away by the person in charge of the Absolute Aptitude Evolution Project, AO. Wu Yan's heart sank. He picked up the phone and asked in a low voice. Where's Accelerator? Oh. Alistair seemed surprised when Wu Yan mentioned Accelerator. He was surprised that Wu Yan knew that Accelerator was related to this project. As for Alistair's expressionless face, who knows if he was surprised or not? Of course, Alistair wouldn't ask Wu Yan. It would be a waste of time anyway. He could only bury his doubts in his heart. Accelerator has already caught up with them. I got it. Send the location to my phone. Wu Yan said bluntly. Alistair didn't care. He sent the location to Wu Yan's phone and hung up. Looking at the map that was just sent to him, he cursed his bad luck a few times. Then he rushed towards the marked location as fast as he could. Since Accelerator is already there, it means that Accelerator has been affected by final production. It's about time for him to clear his name. This is why Wu Yan is in such a hurry. It's not that he doesn't want Accelerator to save the last item, it's because if Accelerator tries to save the last item, the same thing that happened in the original work will happen again. Final production was injected with the virus and Accelerator used his own ability to detoxify the virus. Then Amai Ao ambushed him and turned him into a retarded version of Accelerator. But this time there was no Misaka network to connect him to his sisters. Unless Wu Yan released all of his sisters, Accelerator would have to lie in bed for the rest of his life. Wu Yan wouldn't allow that to happen. On the other side, faster, faster, faster. Amai Ao looked at Mikoto who was sitting next to him. She had her eyes closed and was panting. She looked like she was in pain. Final production was writing something on her laptop. Amai Ao's face was covered in cold sweat. He shouted anxiously, "Hang in there. Hang in there until the virus is activated." Amai Ao seemed very anxious as he did not know that the words he just uttered were enough to make some people chop him into pieces. But soon his anxiety turned into fear. The man had short white hair, a pair of vermilion eyes, and the prisoner's clothes had been changed into normal clothes. He had an evil smile on his face as he slowly walked towards Amai Ao. "Accelerator." Amai Ao was shocked. He hurriedly started the engine of the car. When Accelerator thought that he was going to escape, he did not expect that the other party would directly crash into him. Accelerator laughed as if he was mocking something. He stood there motionless. Soon, Amai Ao's car crashed into Accelerator's thin body. After a strange sound, the expected collision did not happen. Accelerator was still standing on the same spot. Instead, it was Amai Ao's car that was twisted into a ball, as if it had crashed into an iron wall. Accelerator smiled disdainfully as he looked at Io Aoi in the car. "How should I deal with you then?" Hearing this, Amai Ao's expression changed drastically and he hurriedly got out of the car. However, Accelerator stepped on the front of the car lightly and his movement was stopped. Accelerator couldn't be bothered to look at Amai Ao anymore. He turned to look at Last Work and when he saw that she was safe and sound, he let out a sigh of relief. However, when he saw her gasping for breath, he frowned again. Accelerator picked up his phone and said something to someone. However, as time passed, a trace of worry flashed across Accelerator's usually cold and indifferent face. Suddenly, as if she was having a seizure, the computer trembled violently. Then a string of incomprehensible gibberish came out of her mouth. On the computer screen of Amai Ao's computer, a large number of red boxes started flashing. Accelerator clenched his teeth and placed a hand on Last Work's forehead. Then he closed his eyes. A gun was pointed at Accelerator's forehead from the other side of the car. Chapter 228. The sound of a bullet being loaded echoed clearly in the quiet room. It also startled Accelerator, who was concentrating on getting rid of the virus in the last product's body. Accelerator's pupils shrank when he saw Amai Ao struggling to get up from the ground. He was holding a gun in his hand, but his hand was trembling uncontrollably. He looked like he was in a sorry state. Don't stop me." Amai Ao managed to squeeze out a few words, but his trembling body and the gun in his hand betrayed him. Accelerator looked at the gun that was aimed at him. Normally it was no different from scrap metal to him. He could even reflect missiles, let alone a gun. However, at this moment, this piece of scrap metal that he usually disdained was even more terrifying than those missiles. Accelerator, who was helping the last product to get rid of the virus, had already transferred all his computing power to this precise task. He had no extra computing power to do anything else. In other words, Accelerator had no way of reflecting the gun's attack. Accelerator glanced at the display screen on the side of the computer. He gritted his teeth and didn't take his hand off the Last Work's head. Because in the last 10 seconds, the Last Work's virus could be completely eliminated. If he stopped at this time, his final work would really be beyond saving. Gazing at the muzzle of the pistol without blinking his eyes, Accelerator exclaimed inside, "Hurry up, hurry up. After a short while I will be able to take my hand back from the Last Work. At the same time I will have no computing ability left. As long as I have my computing ability back, that pistol will become a piece of scrap metal." Unfortunately, there was not enough time. In the last few seconds, Amai Ao had already pulled the trigger. At this moment, a figure appeared. When Wu Yan arrived, Amai Ao had aimed his gun at Accelerator. Wu Yan heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that even God did not want anything to happen to Accelerator. With a slight movement of his finger, A layer of iron sand suddenly burst out from the ground where Amayo was standing. It coiled around Amayo's wrist, and with a gentle twist, Amayo's hand, which was holding the spear, was neatly cut off. Ah! Amayo screamed in pain as he held his severed hand. However, before he could scream, a wave of iron sand came out of the ground and shredded him into pieces in the blink of an eye. All that was left was a pool of blood that fell from the sky. Wu Yan stood behind the pool of blood, looking as if he was bathed in it. He smiled evilly. Accelerator was stunned when he saw this. He stared blankly at Wu Yan, who was standing in the middle of the rain of blood, without a single drop of blood on his body. Accelerator was not someone who had never seen blood before. In fact, he was a person who was often accompanied by blood. Naturally, he would not be shocked by Wu Yan's cruel method of killing. What shocked him was that he did not know why, but he felt that Wu Yan was a perfect match for the blood. It was as if he was supposed to be bathed in blood. It was a little different from before. It felt as if the other party had become an existence of a higher level. Wu Yan did not know what was going on in Accelerator's mind. If he did, he would not have thought much of it. A true ancestor was the highest level of vampire. What was so strange about it being compatible with blood? Wu Yan ignored the pool of blood and walked towards Accelerator. This action woke Accelerator up from his stupor. Accelerator was confused when he saw Wu Yan's wine-red eyes. They were the same color as his. But that quickly disappeared. Why did Wu Yan become like this? It has nothing to do with him. That's not what he cared about. Why did you save me? Accelerator narrowed his eyes and asked Wu Yan. He didn't understand why Wu Yan came to save him when they were enemies not long ago. Wu Yan took a long look at Accelerator. He couldn't help but sigh when he saw how unscathed Accelerator is. Not long ago, Accelerator was almost cut in half by Astria's sword, but now, he's jumping around as if nothing happened to him. That kind of injury is not something that can be healed in a few days. It might take months to recover, but Accelerator is completely fine. In Wu Yan's memories, the only one who can do this is Soul Hunter of the Underworld. Unbelievable. Wu Yan smiled when he saw Accelerator staring at him. He didn't seem to care at all. Why can't I save you? Accelerator was taken aback. He frowned and looked at Wu Yan with cold eyes. Don't bullshit me. You should know what I mean. Wu Yan shook his head with a bitter smile. He knew Accelerator wouldn't be patient enough to listen to him ramble on. Then why did you save Last Work? Accelerator fell silent. He glanced at Last Work, who has calmed down. After a while he clicked his tongue and left. Wu Yan hurriedly called out to him. Hey Accelerator, where are you going? It's none of your business. Accelerator didn't hold back in his insults, but Wu Yan didn't mind. You going to leave just like that? What about this little girl? Accelerator stopped and he turned around to look at Wu Yan with a confused expression. What do you mean? Isn't she your target? Wu Yan nodded in realization. Accelerator thought he was going to take away the final product just like he did with the sisters. Wu Yan shook his head with a smile. No, this little girl isn't my goal. Then why are you here? Don't tell me you're here to save me? Accelerator tilted his head in a mocking manner as if he's amused by his own words. But to his surprise, Wu Yan nodded. That's right. I'm here to save you. Hey, are you kidding? Accelerator didn't believe Wu Yan's words. His eyes gradually turned hostile. He thinks Wu Yan is toying with him. Wu Yan shook his head helplessly. He patted Last Work's head and said to Accelerator, I'll leave this little girl to you from now on. Accelerator really wanted to laugh, and he did laugh out loud. Looks like you're really here to make fun of me. Wu Yan ignored Accelerator. He patted Last Work's head again and turned around to leave. Accelerator's laughter stopped abruptly. He looked at Wu Yan, who walked away without hesitation. He was furious and kicked Axio's twisted car. As Accelerator moved, the hood of the car detached from the body of the car as if it was controlled by a giant hand. Then it flew towards Wu Yan with lightning speed. Wu Yan didn't even turn his head as if he didn't notice the car coming towards him. He kept walking. When the car was about to hit him, he tilted his body slightly to the side to avoid the car. He then continued walking while waving his hand casually. Since I've decided to save someone, I won't hurt anyone anymore. After he finished speaking, his figure gradually disappeared into the distance. Accelerator stared at Wu Yan's back in a daze. He didn't come back to his senses until Wu Yan disappeared. Wu Yan's words echoed in his ears. He didn't know what to feel. Accelerator glanced at the final product with a complicated expression. In the end, he sighed and hugged the final product. Damn you, little brat. You only know how to cause trouble. Chapter 229. Academy City School District 7, Tokuwadai Dormitory. Early in the morning, the sun slowly shines down from the sky, passing through layers of clouds and shrouding the ground that was just covered by the night, bringing a touch of warmth to the cold ground. In the dormitory of Tokuwadai, all the young ladies got up from their beds one after another and started their day after day, year after year of middle school life. Even though it was a holiday today, they still couldn't hide in their warm beds. Who knows if it was a special rule of Tokuwadai or if it was a habit of theirs. Usually at this time, the Missy from Tokuwadai would have finished washing up and headed to the commercial street in the center of the school district. But today, there was no sign of the young ladies who were preparing to go out on the streets at the entrance of the Tokuwadai dormitory. They were all hiding in the corners of the dormitory and looking at the entrance as though they had seen something unbelievable. None of them wanted to go forward. Because there's a figure standing there that normally wouldn't appear at this time. Her long blonde hair was casually draped behind her head, and she carried a small white bag on her back. The sunlight shone on her hair, which was the same color as her hair, emitting a golden glow. She wore a pair of white gloves on her hands and a pair of white stockings on her feet. Her star-shaped eyes stared in one direction as if she was waiting for something. She was wearing the uniform of Tokuwadai, which was the same as the other young ladies. However, when she wore it, she had a different kind of charm. This was because the owner of the uniform had a great heart that the other girls in Tokuwadai did not have. It's Shokuhu Misaki herself. Shokuhu Misaki is standing in front of Tokuwadai's dormitory door early in the morning, waiting. The Missy from Tokuwadai didn't choose to go out because they saw their queen at the door. Girls are all gossipy creatures. This sentence can't be applied to all girls, but it's applicable to most of them. Obviously, the Missy from Tokuwadai are one of those gossipy creatures. When they saw Shokuhu Misaki standing in front of Tokuwadai's dormitory door, they're boiling because their queen is obviously waiting for someone. Could it be her boyfriend? Her Majesty the Queen is going on a date with her boyfriend? Once this idea popped up, it instantly went out of control and spread like wildfire. Within a short 5 minutes, it had spread throughout the entire Tokuwadai dormitory and attracted everyone. Ever since Mikoto became the second, her influence in Tokuwadai became even greater. At this time, Shokuhu Misaki's influence didn't decrease in the slightest. Many Tokuwadai's young ladies also deeply admired Shokuhu Misaki from the bottom of their hearts. So now that Shokuhu Misaki has a boyfriend, the commotion in Tokuwadai will definitely not be any less than the last time she went out on a date. At this time, they didn't know that the person Shokuhu Misaki was waiting for was the same person she went on a date with last time. At a certain moment, Shokuhu Misaki's eyes suddenly lit up as she looked in a certain direction. A beautiful smile appeared on her face, making those Tokuwadai girls who were looking forward to her almost screamed. At the same time, they also noticed that in the direction Shokuhu Misaki was looking at, there was a figure walking towards them. A figure that caused them so much pain that they wanted to chop him into pieces. "It's that scum!" One of the misses from Tokuwadai couldn't help but exclaim. Following her exclamation, the other misses from Tokuwadai were all stunned as they stared at Wu Yan, who is approaching Shokuhu Misaki. What's going on? How can it be that scum? At this moment, all the Tokuwadai girls, without exception, were crazily roaring this sentence in their hearts. Ever since the last Midsummer Festival, Wu Yan publicly announced that their Misaka-sama is a member of his Crystal Palace. The title scum has spread throughout the Tokuwadai along with Shiroi Kuriko's secret plot. None of them didn't want to chop Wu Yan into pieces because Mikoto is the trump card of their Tokuwadai, the third of the 7 LV5 Tokuwadai girls in Academy City. Every Tokuwadai girl has a deep yearning for Mikoto, just like how they yearn for Shokuhu Misaki. But on that day their hearts were broken. Their Misaka-sama was taken in by a powerless hooligan. Moreover, he was taken into Crystal Palace. From that day onwards, every single girl in Tokuwadai started hating Wu Yan. And after Mikoto defeated Kakine Taidaku and became the second Tokuwadai girl in Academy City, The hatred in their hearts couldn't be suppressed. Now even another object of their yearning has fallen into his arms. At this moment the anger in their hearts suddenly rose. It's not like they didn't know about Shokuhu Misaki's date with Wu Yan. However, Wu Yan's declaration at the Crystal Palace during the Midsummer Festival made the Oni-san of Tokuwadai believe that their Koho-sama would never share a man with another woman. Thus they didn't think of Wu Yan as a possible suspect. So when Wu Yan appeared, the Tokuwadai girls, other than disbelief, their monstrous resentment also solidified and broke through the clouds. Wu Yan, who was about to greet Shokuhu Misaki, suddenly shuddered. A chill crept up his spine, causing Wu Yan's body to tremble again and again. Ever since he became a true ancestor under the influence of the noble true ancestor bloodline, even I couldn't give Wu Yan this kind of warning. But now Wu Yan actually shuddered. For a moment Wu Yan thought he was being watched by the god of this world, that is, Jehovah. Little did he know the ones who are watching him are just a bunch of young ladies who don't even have the strength to truss up a chicken. Almost as soon as Wu Yan appeared, Shokuhu Misaki's gaze fell on Wu Yan's pair of wine-red eyes that suddenly changed a few days ago. Then she covered her mouth and laughed from the bottom of her heart. For some reason, Shokuhu Misaki is very happy that Wu Yan has the same pair of eyes as her. She doesn't know why she's feeling this way, but she's not sure why. It's not polite to make a lady wait. Shokuhu Misaki sweetly smiled at Wu Yan and said. Hearing this, Wu Yan suspiciously took out his phone. Looking at the 6:40 on the display, he asked Shokuhu Misaki, "Isn't it not time yet? You didn't say 7 last time but 6 last time?" Shokuhu Misaki didn't deny it and smiled. "Well, time is not an excuse for making a lady wait. Can't you come a little earlier?" Wu Yan's mouth twitched, looking at Shokuhu Misaki's sweet smile. All the energy in his body dissipated. He had arrived 20 minutes earlier than her. Since it's impossible to reason with a woman, Wu Yan raised both his hands like a hoodlum. "Fine, it's my fault, okay?" Shokuhu Misaki nodded in satisfaction, took 2 steps forward and hugged Wu Yan's hands. "Date, I'm looking forward to it." Feeling Jisama rubbing her ample bosoms against his arm, Wu Yan secretly cheered in his heart. However, he maintained a helpless smile on his face. "I really don't know why you're so eager to go on a date with me. Well, don't mind the details." With that, the two of them walked off into the distance. In the Tokuwadai dormitory, the Oni-san who were hiding in the shadows watched as Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki got further and further away. Dark aura enveloped them as they grinned eerily. Then they formed a group and chased after the two who got further and further away. Among them there was a Tokuwadai girl with short brown hair, and a petite figure with 2 pink ponytails. By the way, she's the girl who led Wu Yan to Shokuhu Misaki and told her that Mikoto has a boyfriend. She's the one who indirectly caused the relationship between Wani-sama and Wu Yan. No. Enough. Stop arguing. Mikoto, who was already a little annoyed, is now scared witless by this group of dangerous girls. She quickly stopped them from talking and saved a certain scum, who is enjoying a date. "Wanima." Kuriko shouted at Mikoto in exasperation. Looking at how Mikoto is protecting Wu Yan, Kuriko gritted her teeth. "Wanihima, at this time, you should decisively abandon that scum, Wanihima." Mikoto bitterly smiled. If she wanted to cut off all ties with Wu Yan, she would have already made up her mind back in the Spalier world. How could she let Wu Yan take advantage of her? "Misakazama. Shokuhasama and that scum are leaving again." One of the Tokuwadai girls who was assigned as a scout saw Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki heading towards a certain direction and quickly informed Mikoto. Mikoto turned her head to look. "That direction, it looks like an amusement park." "Yes, Misaka-sama. That amusement park is a place where the girls in school who have boyfriends often go for dates. It should be Shokuhasama's idea." "That woman." Mikoto clenched her fist tightly. "You keep biting on someone else's boyfriend. If I don't teach you a lesson today, you'll think that I, Misaka Mikoto, only know how to flirt." Her brown eyes turned and an idea popped up in her mind. She called out to the Tokuwadai girls behind her and started whispering something to them. Then she asked them to pass on the message. On the other side, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki have already entered the amusement park where the girls of Tokuwadai often go for dates. It's the first time he's been to a place like an amusement park. Even Wu Yan felt a sense of novelty, let alone Shokuhu Misaki who has never been to these things. Looking at the roller coaster not far away, Shokuhu Misaki's eyes sparkled. She tugged at Wu Yan's sleeve and said with a hint of anticipation. "Hey little Yan, let's go play that." Hearing Shokuhu Misaki's words, Wu Yan teased her. "What's wrong? Our Queen-sama also likes this kind of childish stuff?" For the first time Shokuhu Misaki blushed and pretended to be elegant as she said, "Of course I'm not interested. It's just that I'm a little curious as to why the people up there are shouting so loudly." "Oh? Is that so?" Wu Yan looked at Shokuhu Misaki with a half-smile and held her hand. "Then I hope the polite Queen-sama will maintain her manners later." Of course. This of course, was quickly broken by Queen-sama. As soon as they got on the roller coaster, Queen-sama's calm face started to show signs of nervousness. She's an exercise idiot to begin with. Looking at the twists and turns of the road, which is as high as a cliff and as low as the sea level, she started to regret it. "Hey little Yen, why don't we go play something else?" Jusama couldn't help but turn her head around when the car was about to depart. She chuckled guiltily at Wu Yan. Era. Wu Yan covered his mouth with the back of his hand and smiled very elegantly. Shokuhu Misaki's face turned red as she said angrily, "Don't copy me." As Shokuhu Misaki's angry voice sounded, the roller coaster started to move upwards. Queen-sama was shocked and tried to stand up but Wu Yan held her back. Wu Yan chuckled. "Queen-sama, the best part is yet to come. You... Ah." This was the voice of Her Highness Queen who was shouting that screaming equals rude just now, screaming on the roller coaster. When the roller coaster finished, Wu Yan who was holding Queen-sama was now being held by Queen-sama like a pillar. Her limbs were strangely removed from the safety belt and railings and were wrapped around Wu Yan's body. Jusama's petite face turned a little pale. Her starry eyes were brimming with tears, giving her a pitiful look. Upon seeing this, not only did Wu Yan not console her, he even snickered, causing Jusama to glare at him. "Hurry up and get off." Queen-sama just wanted to leave this roller coaster that made her lose face. However, it seems like someone doesn't want her to leave. Mikoto, Kuriko, and a group of girls from Tokuwadai were standing on a fake mountain in the amusement park. They were looking at Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki on the roller coaster with a strange smile on their faces. "You want to leave? It's not time yet." Mikoto raised her electric hand and pressed it on the ground. Suddenly, blue and white electricity spread out like a spider web and touched the roller coaster's controller. At the same time, the roller coaster that had stopped trembled. Shokuhu Misaki and Wu Yan who were about to get off the roller coaster fell back onto their seats. "What's going on? What's wrong with the roller coaster?" Shokuhu Misaki suddenly felt an alarm in her heart, telling her that something bad is about to happen. But before she could react, the roller coaster accelerated and went back to where it came from at 3 times its original speed. Ah! Chapter 231. In the amusement park, all the people who saw the roller coaster flying backward at a very fast speed were in a mess. The kind-hearted people began to look for the managers, but they didn't know why those managers all disappeared. So the kind-hearted people could only watch the fun. Thus, the bottom of the roller coaster is filled with people while the top of the roller coaster is filled with Jusama's screams, echoing throughout the entire amusement park. What's going on? On the roller coaster, Wu Yan's neck was tightly strangled by Jusama. Her screams almost broke his eardrums, making his head dizzy. Coupled with the suffocating feeling caused by the lack of oxygen, even though he's already a true ancestor, Wu Yan still felt like he's about to die. Only a part of his mind is left blank, wondering why the roller coaster suddenly malfunctioned. Unfortunately, his brain cells were all scared to death by the deafening screams around him. In the distance, Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki on the roller coaster. Her face is pale with fright. She smiled evilly, seemingly satisfied with what she's done. Kuriko, who was standing beside Mikoto, glanced at the unscathed Yuan Shao on the flying car with resentment. She glanced at Wu Yan and blamed her own sister for being biased. Why didn't she teach that scum a lesson? Gritting his teeth indignantly, Hazy rolled his eyes as if he had thought of something. He snickered a few times, then stealthily took 2 steps back and started whispering to the girls of Tokuwadai behind him. As Hazy's words fell into the ears of the ladies of Tokuwadai, Their eyes lit up as they excitedly nodded their heads and smiled tacitly. Almost in the next second, Wu Yan, who was sitting on the roller coaster, suddenly felt his body lighten. Gisama's hand that was strangling his neck loosened. At the same time, a gust of wind blew his body out of the roller coaster. Wu Yan didn't even get the chance to curse before he started free-falling towards the ground at a height of about 10 meters. Gisama, who was still screaming, didn't realize that her biggest support at this moment is falling face first. She also didn't realize that her hands that were strangling Wu Yan's neck have turned into a pillar. As for the people who saw Wu Yan fall, they all screamed and scattered like birds and beasts. It's obvious that they don't plan to save Wu Yan. Mikoto, who is on top of the fake mountain, also exclaimed in surprise. Then she thought of something and glared at Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai misses. As for the creators, they already put on a surprised expression and managed to get away with it. Looking at the ground that's getting closer and closer to him, Wu Yan let out a long sigh. He cursed his bad luck in his heart. How would he know that the reason why he's in this state is because of someone's dirty tricks? Wu Yan's eyes narrowed and he turned his body. His body immediately did a 180-degree turn and he slightly bent his body. The moment he landed, he stomped on the air. One hand and both feet landed on the ground together. His body slightly squatted down to dissipate the force. Wu Yan dragged 2 lines of several meters on the ground. Then he stood up as if nothing happened. How is this possible? Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai girls all screamed. When Mikoto looked at them in confusion, they quickly pretended that nothing happened. But in their hearts they were cursing. He's still not dead. Come to think of it, they really thought that Wu Yan is a powerless LV0. They came here with the intention of killing Wu Yan. When the roller coaster stopped again, Gisama still hasn't reacted. She's still sitting on her seat, hugging a small pillar that came from who knows where. She's screaming with her eyes closed. Wu Yan's face turned ugly. I say, Gisama. Gisama. Girl. Seeing this scene, Mikoto's face turned red and she couldn't help but laugh out loud. The girls of Tokuwadai have never seen their Shoko-sama like this before, so naturally, they all tried their best to hold back their laughter. Where's the administrator? Where are all the caretakers? Shokuhu Misaki stomped her feet in anger. Her pale face has recovered a lot of color, but you can still see the anger and embarrassment in her eyes. Shokuhu Misaki felt that the reputation she's built up her entire life is gone. She wanted to cry but no tears came out. Wu Yan also tried his best to hold back his laughter and patted Gisama's shoulder. Well, Gisama, as a Tokuwadai girl, you can't be so rude. Shokuhu Misaki's face turned red. She glared at Wu Yan in embarrassment, but she didn't ask for an administrator anymore. She humphed coldly and walked away. Let's go. Let's go to the next roller coaster. You still dare to play? Wu Yan was shocked. He quickly chased after her. On the fake mountain, Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki and Wu Yan walking away. He was a bit surprised. That woman, she's still not going to give up? So she came here with the intention of ruining his date. Wanya, are we still going to follow them? That's what she said, but if you look closely, you'll notice that Kuriko's pink pupils are filled with an eagerness to give it a try. It's as if she won't rest until Wu Yan is dead. Of course. Mikoto said angrily. She raised her leg and followed after them. Seeing this, the ladies of Tokuwadai also rushed after them. In front of them, Wu Yan frowned and kept looking back. He scratched his face from time to time as if he's confused. Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but ask. What's wrong? No, it's nothing. Wu Yan rubbed his chin and said thoughtfully, it's just that I feel like something's not right. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki smiled. You're not afraid of being caught by your little girlfriends, are you? Wu Yan glanced at Shokuhu Misaki and said lightly, what do you think? Mistress. Mistress? Shokuhu Misaki stopped and looked at Wu Yan with her starry eyes. If I'm not mistaken, the position of mistress has been occupied for a long time, right? Wu Yan choked and didn't know what to say. Shokuhu Misaki turned her head away in dissatisfaction. Her blonde hair almost hit Wu Yan's face. You're still thinking about other girls when you're on a date, you're so lame. Wu Yan felt helpless. If he's not mistaken, the one who brought up other girls first was Shokuhu Misaki, of course. A girl's emotions are fickle and Shokuhu Misaki is a perfect example of this. She was just complaining about Wu Yan and in the blink of an eye, she's hugging Wu Yan's arm again. Damn it, she's still so close. Mikoto gritted her teeth as she looked at Shokuhu Misaki's arm hugging Wu Yan's arm. From her angle she can clearly see Shokuhu Misaki's ample bosom clamping onto Wu Yan's arm. This made her feel both dissatisfied and envious. To put it simply, she's envious and jealous. Looking at Wu Yan's smiling face, Mikoto's dissatisfaction grew. Unable to take it anymore, Mikoto stomped on the ground and a small electric current flowed from the ground towards Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki. Ah! Shokuhu Misaki, who was hugging Wu Yan's arm, suddenly screamed and let go of her hand as if she was bitten by a bug. Wu Yan was stunned and quickly asked, "What's wrong?" Shokuhu Misaki touched the back of her hand, her starry eyes were filled with confusion. I don't know, my hand suddenly went numb." "Your hand went numb?" Wu Yan looked at Shokuhu Misaki's hand with a strange expression. He didn't know why, but when he heard the word, numb, he felt enlightened, but he couldn't figure out what it was. It felt weird to the extreme. Shokuhu Misaki frowned and looked at the back of her hand. Suddenly she saw a figure in her line of sight. Chapter 232. When Shokuhu Misaki saw the silhouette from the corner of her eyes, her face froze for a second before she understood what happened. As for the silhouette that Shokuhu Misaki saw, it seemed to have realized that it might have been exposed. Panicking, it retracted its legs and hid in a corner, worried that it would be discovered just like that. Shokuhu Misaki squinted her eyes. With her mind control ability, it only took her a moment to figure out what happened. Her heart was filled with rage. Recalling how embarrassing she was on the roller coaster, Shokuhu Misaki was even more furious. She's always been the one messing with others, since when was she the one being messed with? The more she thought about it, the angrier Shokuhu Misaki got. Even her pretty face was tainted with black lines. It's obvious that she's feeling right now. "Dima, are you alright?" Wu Yan's mouth twitched as he looked at Shokuhu Misaki, who's in a strange state. His heartbeat quickened as he tried to recall if he's done anything to offend this lady. Hearing Wu Yan's words, Shokuhu Misaki's still angry face turned towards Wu Yan. Seeing the fear on Wu Yan's face, she glanced at the corner where the silhouette disappeared. Suddenly, a small scheme appeared in her mind. Jisama instantly retracted her anger. She smiled sweetly at Wu Yan like a blooming flower. "I'm fine, Yan." Looking at Jisama's sweet smile, Wu Yan was stunned. He looked like a CPU overheated. He really can't understand how this woman's face can change so quickly. Shokuhu Misaki had a smile on her face like a young girl. She skipped over to Wu Yan's side and hugged his arm. She then buried her face in his shoulder. "Yan, let's continue playing." After that, she pulled Wu Yan towards a certain direction. As she walked, she turned around to look at the corner of the building. Then she flashed a meaningful grin. Mikoto didn't see that smile on Shokuhu Misaki's face. If she did, she'd be shocked. Because every time Shokuhu Misaki wants to toy with her, she'll always have that smile on her face. Usually when Shokuhu Misaki has that smile on her face, it's when Mikoto is at a disadvantage. Wu Yan was caught off guard by Jisama's sudden enthusiasm. When he realized that Jisama was leading him to a secluded corner, Wu Yan was puzzled. Jisama, aren't we going to play? Why do I feel like we're getting further and further away? Is there a facility that I don't know about? Shokuhu Misaki's face. "Well, Yan, don't worry. You'll know soon enough." Wu Yan didn't feel relieved. Instead, he felt even more puzzled. Scratching his face, Wu Yan sighed. A woman's mind is hard to read, let alone Jisama, who specializes in manipulating others' minds. It's probably best if I don't go looking for trouble and just follow her. What's that woman planning to do? Wu Yan wasn't the only one who was puzzled. Mikoto and the other Tokuwadai ladies were also puzzled when they saw Shokuhu Misaki leading Wu Yan to a secluded corner. Of course, with their IQ they wouldn't be able to figure out Jisama's plan. They could only bury their doubts in their hearts and once again become stalkers. At this time, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki have already hidden in a secluded corner and are staring at each other. "Jisama, what are you planning to do this time?" Wu Yan leaned against the wall helplessly and sighed at Shokuhu Misaki. His intuition tells him that Jisama is planning to do something unexpected. Wu Yan's intuition was right. Shokuhu Misaki glanced behind and saw the familiar figure following her and Wu Yan. She smiled and looked at Wu Yan. Hey Yan. Under Wu Yan's shocked expression, Jisama put her finger in her mouth and bit it. Following this action, Jisama suddenly wrapped her arms around Wu Yan's neck and squeezed her large breasts into Wu Yan's embrace. Wu Yan was stunned. Feeling the soft touch on his chest, his mind went blank. He really doesn't understand what Jisama is doing. Did Jisama suddenly fall in love with him? The girls in the other corner were also stunned. Then they all burst into an uproar. If it wasn't for the distance, they would have been exposed. They all bit their lips. Mikoto looked at Shokuhu Misaki while the others looked at Wu Yan. Their eyes flashed with murderous intent. Now they understand why Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki are hiding in a secluded corner. They're obviously hiding and making out. Thinking of this, they all bit their lips and resisted the urge to run out and stop them. They want to wait and see what happens. Wu Yan gulped as he looked at Shokuhu Misaki's seductive eyes. He had a hard time finding the words to say. What are you playing at this time? What did I do to offend you? Just say the word and I'll cut my own throat to atone for my sins. Wu Yan wanted to cry but no tears came out. For a moment he thought Jisama was playing with him. Don't tell me you don't like this? Shokuhu Misaki smiled sweetly and moved her face closer to Wu Yan's. She breathed out a hot breath on Wu Yan's face. It's extremely seductive. Being hit by Jisama's fragrance on his face, Wu Yan's body stiffened. Looking at Jisama's lips that were inches away from his face, the lust in him started to rise. Although he doesn't know what Jisama is planning, but being seduced like this and in a secluded place? In a place like this, if he really endured it, then he would be Lu Xiaohui. Is Wu Yan Lu Xiaohui? The answer came out very quickly. Wu Yan took a deep breath and hugged Jisama's naked body tightly. While feeling Jisama's soft body, he moved his face forward. In the next second, two soft lips were sucked into Wu Yan's mouth. Ugh! Shokuhu Misaki's starry eyes widened. The seductive look in her eyes disappeared and was replaced by a thick sense of disbelief. First kiss. Originally, Shokuhu Misaki only wanted to pretend to be intimate with Wu Yan to get back at Mikoto. She wanted to let her know what it means to go for wool and come home shorn. Who knew that the one who went for wool and came home shorn was her? The smart Jisama obviously forgot that Wu Yan isn't a toy that can be manipulated by her. He can also be seduced. Jisama's mind went blank after losing her first kiss. Even though Wu Yan's lips were so close to hers that she couldn't react to it, she didn't know how to react to it. Wu Yan, of course, was happy that Shokuhu Misaki didn't react. This way he can do whatever he wants, right? Shokuhu Misaki's mouth opened wide, and Shokuhu Misaki's cherry lips opened. At the same time, Shokuhu Misaki felt her mouth expand, and a large tongue quickly swam into her mouth, captured her little tongue and entangled them together. Shokuhu Misaki's eyes widened a bit, her blank mind finally came back to her senses. But soon after, the sensation of their tongues intertwining caused Shokuhu Misaki's widened eyes to soften. A faint mist started to crawl into her eyes, making her eyes look like water. Soon Shokuhu Misaki was immersed in the wonderful sensation of the kiss. She closed her eyes and responded to Wu Yan's kiss. The two of them started off with a light kiss, but it quickly escalated into a passionate kiss. Chapter 233. In the corner, Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki are getting more and more engrossed in their kiss. Shokuhu Misaki is starting to forget her original intention and is engrossed in her first kiss. She even forgot that this place is not completely undiscovered. Kuriko, let me go. I'm going to kill that damn woman. Mikoto is struggling with all her might. Her face is filled with dark energy and lightning is crackling on her forehead. She looks like she's suffering a great deal. If it weren't for Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai Oni-sen hugging her with all their might, no one would doubt that Mikoto would have ended Shokuhu Misaki's life. It's because they know that Mikoto's mind is clouded by anger that Kuriko and the others are shocked. They all hugged Mikoto tightly to prevent their Jisama from being electrocuted to death. Fatima, calm down first. You can't go out now. Kuriko is hugging Mikoto tightly and trying to calm her down. She's also drooling as she rubbed Mikoto's chest that's getting bigger and bigger by the day Wu Yan is developing. Wanihima, Even if you go out now, you'll only give Shokuhu Misaki the opportunity to scold you. It's already happened. Wanisama, even if you go out now, you won't be able to change the fact that they've already had intimate contact. Kuriko is trying to persuade Mikoto to come back. Of course, Kuriko is also secretly happy. Her real goal is to let her Wanisama see that scum having an affair. If this continues, her Wanisama will gradually lose hope in that unfaithful scum. Then her impression of him will slowly fade away and her feelings for him will be erased. In the end, she'll take the initiative to leave that scum's clutches. And when her Wanisama is sad, she'll take advantage of that and give her a warm hug and shoulder. Slowly, she'll move her heart, and when that time comes, Kuriko, who thought this as a matter of course, obviously forgot that using the excuse of being a playboy to break up Wu Yan and Mikoto's relationship is no longer going to work. That's because they are already part of each other's crystal palace. Even if she were to take a step back with her personality, there's no way she'd jump into the dangerous profession of being a lesbian just because she's comforted. As for the other Tokuwadai ladies who tried to stop Mikoto, some of them are of the same race as this black and white creature, so they had the same goal as her and righteously tried to persuade Mikoto. Some of them are just afraid that their Jisama would be taken advantage of by their Misaka-sama. Mikoto resisted the urge to go all out and look at the two kissing passionately. The anger in her heart couldn't be quelled no matter how hard she tried. It's not like she's never seen Wu Yan kissing other girls before. For example, Chuju Ikaros, she's seen them all. Sometimes Wu Yan would even force her to sleep in the same bed. Logically speaking, Mikoto, who's already used to this, even if she saw Wu Yan being intimate with other girls, she'd at most be a little jealous and angry. She wouldn't be this angry. But when this girl is Shokuhu Misaki, it's a different story. Shokuhu Misaki is the woman she hates the most. There's no one like her. Mikoto has suffered a lot under Shokuhu Misaki's hands. In the past, Shokuhu Misaki used psychological control to control innocent people to go against her in order to protect her so-called Tokuwadai queen's territory. Although Mikoto resolved it in the end, Jisama is now thoroughly hated by cis canon. The person you like the most kissing the person you hate the most, what kind of feeling is that? Mikoto doesn't know, but she's about to explode from anger. But after listening to Kuriko's advice, Mikoto felt that it made sense. Even if she went out now, it wouldn't change the fact that Shokuhu Misaki and Yen were already intimate. Plus, with Shokuhu Misaki's personality, there's a 90% chance that she'd turn around and mock her. When that happens, she'd have nowhere to vent her anger. Mikoto could only turn her head away. Out of sight, out of mind. But her eyes kept glancing at Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki's direction. Her face gradually turned red. Even though Mikoto is no longer a teenage girl and is now a married woman, she still couldn't help but blush when she saw this scene. What an extraordinary pureness. After persuading Mikoto, Kuriko and the other Tokuwadai ladies let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness no one died. But when they saw Jisama being taken advantage of, their faces darkened. Don't forget, most of them are here to protect Jisama from being tainted by Wu Yan. Of course, no matter what they think, the two who are immersed in the kiss won't notice anything. Feeling Jisama's soft body, her great bosom and her soft lips and tongue, Wu Yan's heart started to heat up. One has to say, blonde hair, big tits, queen, this kind of surname is very attractive. Even Wu Yan wasn't surprised. At this moment, Jisama's interest in Wu Yan is on par with Astria, who has blonde hair and big tits. In fact, Jisama's interest in Wu Yan is close to that of Ikaros, who has huge tits. Wu Yan started to get dissatisfied with the current situation. His hands that were holding Jisama's breasts also started to slide down. When her private parts were under his control, Shokuhu Misaki opened her eyes. Her starry eyes stared at Wu Yan's satisfied face. Her face started to turn red. This is the second time Shokuhu Misaki's private parts were under someone's control, and both times it was by the same person. Shokuhu Misaki's face got redder and redder as Wu Yan's movements intensified. Her body started to lose its strength as she leaned against Wu Yan's chest. She leaned against Wu Yan's chest to support herself. Jisama's lips were sealed. She could only let out a whimper to express her inner trembling. Her body started to twist uncontrollably. Jisama's twisting almost caused a problem. Wu Yan, who was in close contact with Jisama, almost lost control of himself. Unable to hold himself back, Wu Yan let go of her captive lips. He roughly twisted Shokuhu Misaki's limp body so that she is facing away from him and leaning against his chest. Then he reached out with both hands and grabbed Gisama's private parts. Ugh, no. Shokuhu Misaki, who just got a chance to catch her breath, had her private parts captured by Wu Yan. She cried out in surprise, but the tone of her voice suddenly dropped to the freezing point. It turned into a seductive moan. Shokuhu Misaki has never been treated like this before. Her heart was trembling violently. She almost escaped from the control of her chest to take a breath of fresh air. She wanted to stop Wu Yan's movements, but she didn't know where all her strength went. Plus, she's a sports idiot. How could she win against Wu Yan? In the end, Shokuhu Misaki could only say, no. She wanted to pull Wu Yan's hand down to touch her private parts, but she could only helplessly hold on to Wu Yan's wrist. It was like she was trying to resist but also trying to resist. He licked his lips and licked his lips. He stuck out his tongue and started licking Shokuhu Misaki's cheeks bit by bit. Shokuhu Misaki's cheeks are so alluring that they're practically drooling out of her body. Wu Yan licked his lips. Ugh. Shokuhu Misaki could only passively accept what Wu Yan was doing to her. Originally, Shokuhu Misaki would hate anyone who did this to her without her consent. But for some reason, facing Wu Yan, Shokuhu Misaki was shocked to find that in her heart, she didn't even feel much resistance, let alone hate. Chapter 234. Ugh, ugh. Listening to Gisama's moans that reached the peak, Wu Yan licked Gisama's perspiration while licking the sweat off her face. He was a bit surprised. Could it be? Is Gisama the sensitive type? With that thought in mind, Wu Yan tightened his grip on her breasts. Gisama felt like she was hit by something. She groaned loudly, her skin had turned pink. Seeing this, Wu Yan couldn't help but laugh. He moved closer to Shokuhu Misaki's ear and teased her. Gisama, I didn't expect your sensitive spot to be here. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki looked back at Wu Yan, who had a smirk on his face. She wanted to say something, but the lust coming from her body drained her of her strength. Her voice turned into a moaning moan. Seeing Gisama unable to speak, Wu Yan's lips curled into an evil smile. He once again moved closer to Gisama's ear. It seems like he won't stop until Gisama speaks. Milady Queen, since you're not saying anything, I'll take it that you've admitted to it. However, it's understandable. Milady Queen's breasts are so soft and alluring. It's just that I know of your weakness. Shokuhu Misaki bit her lips. She felt a bit embarrassed. Just like what Wu Yan said, her weakness was completely under his control. He even used it as if it was a natural thing to do. Perhaps he saw the shame in Shokuhu Misaki's eyes. Wu Yan smiled happily. This Shokuhu Misaki, in order to fight with Mikoto, she's given him a lot of trouble. Today she's finally fallen into his hands. With a smile, Wu Yan moved one of his hands to Shokuhu Misaki's waist and tidied up her Tokuwadai uniform. Then, under Gisama's panicked expression, he slid his hand under her clothes. Shokuhu Misaki's heart rate increased by a few %. She could feel his warm hand caressing her belly. She couldn't help but moan. Don't. Wu Yan ignored her and bit down on her earlobe. Her body shuddered as his hand slowly crept up her clothes. Slowly, he moved his hand up her body. Shokuhu Misaki's heart pounded furiously. She pressed down on Wu Yan's hand that's going under her clothes. She said with a bashful expression. Why, you've been touching me for so long. Are you still not satisfied? Me? Well, how could I possibly be satisfied? Wu Yan said shamelessly. Gisama's body is so alluring, no matter how long I touch it, I'll never be satisfied. Hearing this, Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but feel a little proud and happy. Shokuhu Misaki has always been very confident about her body. She also knows how tempting her body is to those men. However, hearing Wu Yan say that her body is so alluring, Shokuhu Misaki couldn't help but feel a little proud. After all, a woman will doll herself up for her bosom friend. This saying applies to the body that Shokuhu Misaki is so proud of. That being said, Gisama still wants to stop Wu Yan's violence. After all, Gisama is still a woman. She has the most basic modesty. She can't just stand by and watch her baby fall into Wu Yan's hands. Even if she's already been touched by him through her clothes. Don't. Shokuhu Misaki panted. Wu Yan's other hand hasn't stopped ravaging her body. And, can you do it through my clothes? Even with her personality, Gisama couldn't help but blush when she said that. Of course, it's also because of the previous foreplay. Gisama? Wu Yan said with a grin. He's asking for a beating. Let's go all out. Don't forget this time, you're the one who's taking the initiative. Wu Yan didn't give Shokuhu Misaki a chance to respond. His hand that was hovering on her belly suddenly moved up and gently pried open Shokuhu Misaki's breasts. He grabbed one of her soft breasts and started ravaging it without any hindrance. Smooth and tender. Delicate and soft. These three adjectives immediately popped into Wu Yan's mind. Shokuhu Misaki cried out in surprise, which was quickly replaced by moans. Hugh. Gisama closed her eyes in resignation. Her mouth opened and closed, moaning while panting. She's enjoying this special feeling that she's only experienced today. At this time, Wu Yan's other hand slipped into Gisama's bosom. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. In a distant corner, the ladies of Tokuwadai who had witnessed this scene from the beginning to the end could only watch helplessly as the object of their dreams was treated in such a manner by a scumbag who owned a crystal palace. They were on the verge of exploding. Those with handkerchiefs have already taken out their handkerchiefs and started biting them like their mortal enemies. Their handkerchiefs were quickly destroyed by them. Thus, they followed the example of those without handkerchiefs and started biting their Tokuwadai uniforms. If it wasn't for the quality of the uniforms, they would have already exposed their breasts. If it wasn't for the fact that Misaksuma hasn't made a move yet, they would have charged out and chopped Wu Yan into pieces. They can only stay in this corner and mumble to themselves as if they're there. If this continues, Shokuhama will be in danger. Shokuhama, hurry up and leave that scumbag. That scumbag, how dare he lick Shokuhama's beautiful face with his dirty tongue. He even touched Shokuhama's breasts. He even put his hand on Shokuhama's most precious breasts. God, he actually put his hand into Shokuhama's clothes. That hand must be chopped off. No, must be chopped into pieces. What hand? Not only his hand, wherever that scumbag touched Shokuhama, that part must be chopped off. I think we should just chop that scumbag into pieces. No. I think we should just hang him up and whip him, let him suffer a fate worse than death. My Shokuhama has been defiled by that scumbag. Mikoto's face was getting uglier and uglier as she listened to her juniors gnashing their teeth and complaining. She had already decided that what she didn't see couldn't grieve over. Now that she heard the live broadcast of the report, she was in a terrible mood. Kuriko, who was standing on the side, saw her sister's expression. She snickered and her eyes shined like a wolf. It's as if she can see her sister leaving that scumbag and throwing herself into her arms. Mikoto kept telling herself to calm down, but soon her calmness was shattered by what happened next. She couldn't bear to watch any longer. Shokuhu Misaki, who was closing her eyes and enduring Wu Yan's actions, suddenly screamed. Her slightly emotional face was instantly replaced by panic. The reason is because one of Wu Yan's hand that left her clothes is now on her asterisk. He's rubbing her asterisk and he's slowly moving up her asterisk. No. Not knowing where she got the strength, Shokuhu Misaki grabbed Wu Yan's hand on her breasts and gasped for breath. Only here, absolutely not. Who knew? Wu Yan only smiled in disdain. He didn't even bother to answer and directly broke free from Shokuhu Misaki's weak resistance. Then, under Shokuhu Misaki's panicked expression, he quickly reached under her skirt. Chapter 235. Shokuhu Misaki's hand is about to reach her most intimate part. She can't stop it with her current strength. She can only moan and close her eyes, waiting for Wu Yan's hand to come. Just as he was about to succeed, a familiar electromagnetic field rippled through Wu Yan's senses, causing his hand to stop in midair. His face was filled with shock. Stop. A soul-stirring voice, accompanied by unconcealable anger and violent lightning, in a blink of an eye, descended upon this world where there are only the two of them. Mikoto. As soon as Wu Yan called out, a bolt of lightning shot towards Wu Yan and Shokuhu Misaki at lightning speed. Perhaps it's a sign of the owner's determination to kill this adulterous pair. The crackling sound of lightning finally woke Wu Yan up from his stupor. Wu Yan's eyes narrowed when he saw the bolt of lightning heading straight for him and Shokuhu Misaki. His bangs fluttered. A similar bolt of lightning flashed across Wu Yan's forehead, then it met the incoming bolt of lightning head-on. The lightning bolts collided with each other. With a loud bang, a blue-white light and scattered sparks burst out like fireworks, shining in between the two masters. Wu Yan didn't even have time to catch his breath before a barrage of attacks came crashing down on him. Wind blades, flames, icicles, water pillars, even trash cans, stools, tables, they all came crashing down on Wu Yan's face. Wu Yan's expression changed. He hugged Gisama and quickly retreated to the back, creating a distance between them. Almost touching Wu Yan's skin, the attacks all landed on Wu Yan's original position. Then, there's nothing left except for rocks, there's nothing left. A drop of cold sweat dripped down his face. Wu Yan didn't doubt that if he was still in that position, not even his bones would be left. When the culprit appeared in front of Wu Yan, the cold sweat on Wu Yan's face turned into a waterfall of sweat, soaking his face. Standing in front of Wu Yan is Mikoto. Behind her is a large group of people, all of them wearing the same Tokuwadai uniform. This tells Wu Yan who the culprit is. If it's just this, of course it wouldn't be enough to make Wu Yan sweat like a waterfall. More importantly, other than Mikoto, everyone else is covered in a strange black aura. Wu Yan looked at this group of people with fear. They're releasing the same aura as the FFF group, but there's something different about them. He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He reflexively let go of Gisama in his arms. Gisama collapsed on the ground after losing the strength to support herself. Her clothes are messy, her face is suspiciously red, her starry eyes are blurred, she's panting non-stop. Seeing this, the black aura around the Tokuwadai FFF group members behind Mikoto became thicker. Among them there's a black and white creature. What are you doing? Mikoto angrily glared at the Tokuwadai girls behind her. If Mikoto's attack is an infinitely weakened version and severely off-target, then these Tokuwadai girls are using all of their strength and attacking with all of their might. When the Tokuwadai girls heard Mikoto's question, they all looked at Mikoto with a, "It's none of our business, you're the one who led the attack, we're just following your lead" look. This made Mikoto furious. At this moment, the Tokuwadai missus are acting like a bunch of rascals who aren't afraid of being scalded by boiling water. Seeing this, Mikoto helplessly turned her head and glared at Wu Yan. "Mikoto." Wu Yan awkwardly scratched his face. He tried to greet his wife as if nothing happened. But when he thought about how the ripple between him and Gisama might have been seen by the many people watching, Wu Yan felt a little lacking in confidence. After all, Sis Canon is his rightful partner. Gisama doesn't have a reliable partner. After this farce, what's the difference between this and finding a mistress and getting caught by your wife? Plus, the group behind Mikoto is releasing an aura that even a true ancestor like him is a little afraid of. Also, the attack just now doesn't mean much, but when combined together, it's enough to kill him 100 times over. Before Mikoto could say anything, Kuriko, who was standing beside her, snickered. She reached under her skirt and pulled out a few steel needles and held them between her fingers. How dare you cheat in broad daylight? You've reached the end of your life. Today I'll definitely rescue Big Sister from your hands." After that, Kuriko moved the steel needles towards Wu Yan in front of her sister's shocked expression. Kuriko's attack is like a domino effect. The Ojisama of Tokuwadai all shouted in unison as they activated their abilities and threw them at Wu Yan. The overwhelming bullet screen once again fell into Wu Yan's line of sight, illuminating his face and illuminating his rapidly changing face. For a moment, Wu Yan seems to have seen his own ending. He completely forgot about his identity as a true ancestor and saw a huge boobs Grim Reaper waving at him from the other side of the river. Of course, the illusion in Wu Yan's mind was quickly shattered by the bullet screen. With a wave of his hand, a few bolts of electricity shot into the ground. A wave of iron sand gushed out from the ground and formed a wall of iron sand in front of Wu Yan, blocking the bullet screen. He then gently tilted his body to avoid the steel needles that suddenly appeared at his previous position. One-isama. Seeing the familiar lightning and iron sand, Kuriko, who didn't know that Wu Yan and Mikoto have the same ability, thought that it was her sister who saved the scum. She immediately shouted in dissatisfaction. The other Tokuwadai ladies also thought that it was Mikoto who did it. After all, even though Wu Yan released lightning to cancel out Mikoto's lightning, They weren't able to follow Mikoto's sudden attack. By the time they reacted, the two bolts of lightning had already collided. That's why they thought that Wu Yan is a powerless person. Even Kuriko, who failed to ambush Wu Yan multiple times, chose to escape from reality. All of you shut up, Mikoto said exasperatedly. She didn't have any intention of killing Wu Yan, she just couldn't stand it anymore, so she suddenly attacked. Who knew, Wanima? Kuriko lowered her head in disappointment and conveniently glared at Wu Yan. She seems to be a bit dissatisfied. Why is Wu Yan still alive in this world? Seeing that their Misaka-sama is about to speak, the other Tokuwadai ladies all suppressed their urge to attack. They dispersed the lightning bolts in their hands and looked at Wu Yan with hostility. Being glared at by a group of beautiful girls was pleasing to the eye. However, being glared at by a group of beautiful girls who seemed to have turned into evil was not a good thing at all. Wu Yan felt a pain in his balls when he felt the piercing gaze on him. He turned his head away awkwardly and didn't want to look at these girls who are guest stars of the FFF group. After reprimanding the Tokuwadai ladies, Mikoto looked at Wu Yan. Seeing the dry smile on his face, she couldn't hold back her anger and forced a smile. Yan, aren't you going to give me an explanation? Wu Yan smiled awkwardly. Mikoto, you know that I have a promise with Shokuhu Misaki to go on a date with her. That's not what I'm talking about. Mikoto couldn't help but shout as sparks of electricity flashed across her forehead. I'm asking you, why are you in this place? With her. Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched as a sense of helplessness rose in his heart. It's over. I was really seen. Chapter 236. Widening his eyes, Wu Yan stared at the Tokuwadai girls standing in front of him, enough to trample the floor. His mouth twitched. Just thinking about what he did with Gisama just now in front of so many people, and all of them girls at that, Wu Yan couldn't stay calm. In the eyes of the Tokuwadai girls, Wu Yan dared to announce in public that he owns the Crystal Palace and is regarded as a scumbag. It's normal for him to do such a thing. Even so, they can't help but use their knives. Under their unfriendly gazes, Wu Yan couldn't help but take a few steps back. He's wondering if he should just run away. Just as Wu Yan was about to run away, Gisama took her last breath and opened her starry eyes. Looking at Mikoto, Kuriko and the Tokuwadai girls not far away, her face flushed red. Immersed in Wu Yan's advances and the pleasure that Wu Yan brought her, Gisama forgot that someone was secretly following them. In other words, the scene of her being intimate with Wu Yan has been seen by this group of girls. Shokuhu Misaki felt abnormally shy. After all, as long as she's a girl, she would feel shy if she was caught doing such a thing. But Gisama is Gisama, she recovered after a while. Slowly standing up from the ground, Shokuhu Misaki straightened her clothes and looked at Mikoto with a charming smile as if nothing happened. Misaka-san, you brought so many juniors to the amusement park to play? Seeing Shokuhu Misaki being played by Wu Yan like that? She even pretended to be elegant and greeted her. Mikoto cursed in her heart for being shameless. Shokuhu Misaki. Mikoto raised her small fist and glared at Shokuhu Misaki. You've provoked me time and time again. Do you really think I won't do anything? Misaka-san, what are you talking about? Shokuhu Misaki tilted her head with a, I don't understand look. What did I do to make you angry? How can you say it's a provocation? Then what were you doing just now? Being so intimate with someone else's boyfriend, is it because you have the potential to be a seductress? Mikoto's words were already out of her mouth, and when she said those words, her jaw dropped to the floor. Shokuhu Misaki smiled faintly. No one would have guessed that the person lying on the ground was her. She covered her mouth and smiled meaningfully. Misaka, you don't have much charm. You can't even attract Xiaoyan, so he can only be intimate with me. What did you say? Mikoto shrieked. At the same time Wu Yan shrieked. Wu Yan was unable to remain calm as he looked at Her Highness Queen, who was smiling indifferently. He cursed in his heart. Her Highness Queen is really too evil. Once she said those words, I will definitely die. Sure enough, Mikoto's attention was quickly diverted by Shokuhu Misaki. She turned her attention to Wu Yan and her eyes curved dangerously. Tell me, is it because I don't have any charm that I can attract you? Is that why you went for this woman? Wu Yan raised his hand and slapped himself on the head. He wanted to cry but no tears came out. To be honest, Xianxia's body is still a little lacking, but under Wu Yan's efforts, it's gotten a lot better than before. It made Xianxia even more alluring. Even if that wasn't the case, Xianxia is still the same Xianxia. Wu Yan is also very cute with her. It's a fantasy that she can't attract him. Compared to Her Highness Queen, perhaps Her Highness Queen is more charming, but Xianxia is definitely not bad either. Wu Yan could only roll his eyes at Mikoto. I say, I'm troubled by how much you believe in other people's comments. Wu Yan reflexively looked at Mikoto's body and said thoughtfully as if he was recalling something. Do you still remember when we were at the hotel that morning when you were with Chuju? Before he could finish, a pair of small hands covered Wu Yan's mouth and stopped him from continuing. Mikoto's face was red as she covered Wu Yan's mouth with both hands. Right, I got it. You don't have to say any more. Wu Yan pulled Mikoto's hands down in a vengeful manner and said righteously, how can I not say it? I have to tell you properly. Then you'll know if you're attracted to me or not. Mikoto wanted to bite him to death when she heard what he said. She could only yell back with a red face. No need. It's my fault. You don't have to say any more. Oh? You admit that you're attracted to me? Wu Yan smiled evilly, making Mikoto's red face even redder. She could only glare at Shokuhu Misaki. My brain must be damaged if I believe you. Shokuhu Misaki snorted with dissatisfaction. Did I say something wrong? Shokuhu Misaki ran up to Wu Yan and wrapped her arms around his neck. She pouted. Little Yan, tell me, did I say anything wrong? Compared to that woman with a bad figure, is Little Exen not attractive enough for you to be intimate with Little Exen? Wu Yan's eyebrows twitched. He resisted the urge to spank her ass. Inside he was cursing. This Jisama is obviously trying to catch his words. You. Mikoto had the urge to curse at Shokuhu Misaki, but she wasn't good with words, so she didn't know what words to use. She could only point at Shokuhu Misaki with a trembling finger. She didn't want to be compared to Shokuhu Misaki the most. Now that Shokuhu Misaki used her as a comparison, Mikoto didn't know what to say. Shokuhu Misaki gave Mikoto a provocative look before turning to Wu Yan with her seductive eyes. Little Yan, tell me, does Little Exan attract you or not? Mikoto immediately looked at Wu Yan as if waiting for Wu Yan's answer. This made Wu Yan's hair stand on end. Will you guys die if you don't quarrel for a day? Shokuhu Misaki pouted when she didn't get the answer she wanted. She thought of something and her face turned red. But when she saw Mikoto's angry face, her heart hardened. She suddenly reached out and grabbed Wu Yan's hand. Then, under the shocked faces of Wu Yan, Mikoto, and the girls of Tokuwadai, she placed his hand on her ample bosom. You, what are you doing? Mikoto yelled at Shokuhu Misaki with a red face. She was shocked by Shokuhu Misaki's sudden action. Wu Yan's mind went blank. The soft touch on his hand told Wu Yan that this isn't a dream. Jisama really did offer her breasts in front of everyone. Shokuhu Misaki's face was also red. She decided to go all out. She was touched and pinched just now, it doesn't matter if she's touched again. Shokuhu Misaki ignored the fact that there are people around her. After all, they saw what happened just now. Besides, other than Wu Yan, the rest of the people here are all girls. Moreover, they are girls from the same school. Otherwise, Shokuhu Misaki wouldn't have dared to do something so daring in front of so many strangers. After this, I'll erase their memories of today. That's it. Jisama, who thought of this, giggled again. She stuck out her breasts and let them sink even deeper into Wu Yan's hands. It's hard to tell if she's doing it on purpose or if it's for real. Shokuhu Misaki looked at Wu Yan and she whispered. Little Yan, didn't you like them a lot? So, I'm sure I'm more attractive to you than that woman with a bad figure, right? Wu Yan didn't answer. He was so shocked by Jisama's actions that his brain short-circuited. All he could do was stare blankly at his hands on Shokuhu Misaki's breasts. Beep. An electric current flashed on Mikoto's forehead. Mikoto's heart wasn't calm at all. Hearing Shokuhu Misaki's words, looking at Shokuhu Misaki's face and Wu Yan's hands on her breasts, a monstrous rage rushed into her heart. So much so that Mikoto did something that made everyone who just picked up their dropped jaws drop their own jaws again. Chapter 237. Wu Yan is stunned, Shokuhu Misaki is stunned, Kuriko is stunned, And the other maidens of Tokuwadai are stunned as well. Of the two hands that were originally on Shokuhu Misaki's chest, one of them had disappeared and the other hand was now on Mikoto's chest. One of his hands is still feeling Shokuhu Misaki's ample bosom while the other hand is holding onto a small and delicate one. He can't believe it when he feels the same soft sensation coming from both of his hands. Wu Yan can't believe it, Shokuhu Misaki can't believe it even more. In this place, other than Wu Yan and Kuriko, Shokuhu Misaki dares to say that she knows Misaka Mikoto the best. This proud and pampered girl, let alone having her breasts touched, even if someone just pulled her hand, she would probably blush and lose control of the electric current flowing through her body. And now, this easily embarrassed girl actually pressed a man's hand on her breasts in front of so many people. Shokuhu Misaki thought that she was brave enough. But a woman's competitive nature is scary. She can even make Mikoto do something even more daring than her. After all, Shokuhu Misaki can use her ability to erase other people's memories. Mikoto doesn't have that ability. Kuriko's face is completely blank. It's like she's been done 100 times, she's completely broken. Looking at the hand on Mikoto's breasts, her mouth opened and closed but no words came out. Even Kuriko, the most perverted existence, was shocked to the point of being speechless, not to mention those young ladies of Tokuwadai who have never even seen an impure film before. Mikoto's head is already smoking, she's so embarrassed that she almost fainted. But when she thought about how Shokuhu Misaki seduced her sweetheart in front of her, she gritted her teeth and shouted at Wu Yan hysterically. I won't lose to that woman. Right, Yan? Mikoto yelled at the top of her lungs. Finally Wu Yan's soul flew back from who knows where. Looking at the two plump hands in each of his hands, Wu Yan giggled. Although it's not like he's never touched two different girls' breasts at the same time, it's never been as exciting as this. Under the eyes of so many people, especially his archenemy Siskanen and Jusama, Wu Yan felt like he's in a dream. He smiled contentedly. His hands tightened, the two girls who were still arguing suddenly froze. They moaned and fell into Wu Yan's arms. On one side is Jusama's breasts, on the other side is Siskanen. Endless heart is filled with happiness. This is even more than the last time he secretly needed two girls' breasts. This is even more exciting. In his excitement, Wu Yan couldn't hold back the fire in his heart. He grabbed the two girls' breasts and started kneading them. Another seductive moan. The two girls' bodies started to soften under Wu Yan's actions. They fell into Wu Yan's arms. They couldn't help but pant. At this moment, Wu Yan hugged the two girls in his arms, his hands under their armpits, pressing on their breasts and kneading them with all his might. The two girls were lying on Wu Yan's chest at the same time, looking at each other face to face. Two flushed faces looked at each other because of the feeling from their breasts and the stimulation from the group of Tokuwadai ladies who were staring at them. The two girls had lost the strength to speak. Their brown eyes and sparkling golden eyes were covered in a thin layer of moisture. The two girls were panting, their fragrances from their mouths and noses hit each other's body. They were so embarrassed they wanted to die. How could Mikoto and Shokuhu Misaki ever imagine that, as rivals, they would one day fall into the arms of the same man, and at the same time, be hugged by the same man on both sides while fondling their sensitive parts? However, they didn't want to admit defeat to each other, so they could only suppress the shyness in their hearts and enjoy the pleasure from their breasts. As they panted, they stared at each other with all their might, trying to make each other back off. However, when two pairs of lustful eyes stared at each other, it was a very strange feeling. Wu Yan's bones were about to melt from pleasure. His hands kept rubbing the big and small soft breasts, listening to their purposely suppressed moans and gasps. Wu Yan's lust was rising. Just when Wu Yan couldn't hold it in any longer, he wanted to adjust the position of the two girls in his arms and give them a hard time. A monstrous chill suddenly descended from the sky and enveloped him, causing his body to stiffen. Wu Yan involuntarily stopped rubbing. He raised his head mechanically. The scene imprinted in Wu Yan's vision caused Wu Yan's stiff face to completely collapse. The Tokuwadai ladies, who could be described as an army, with Kuriko as the leader, all of them lowered their heads, using their bangs to cover their eyes. He couldn't see their expressions. Under their bangs he could only see a small shadow, but behind them, there was a huge layer of black substance that could be seen with the naked eye. Standing in front of them, Wu Yan could see that their mouths were lightly moving as if they were saying something. When Wu Yan heard what they were saying, his back was instantly soaked in sweat. Die, 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 die. Like a precise machine, the Tokuwadai ladies who were arranged in an army formation as if they were counting off one after another, they said the word dice one after another. Gulp. Wu Yan swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. Looking at the ladies who seemed to be possessed by the god of death, he pulled out a smile that was uglier than crying. That, die, 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 die. A chill ran down his spine. Deep within his heart he felt the shadow of death looming over him. Wu Yan couldn't help but be horrified by this. As a true ancestor, Wu Yan is immortal. The shadow of death is even more so. From the moment he exchanged for the true ancestor bloodline, he should have left this world. But now, in front of him, a group that he could easily choke to death actually caused him to feel the shadow of death. Could it be that the dark girls are really invincible? The only thing he could hear was the word die. Other than that, the ladies seemed to have lost all ability to function. It made Wu Yan feel like he was soaked in an ice spring. He kept trembling, subconsciously out of reflex. Wu Yan once again pinched Mikoto and Shokuhu Misaki in his arms. The two girls let out a heavy moan. When the moans rang out, the black aura that enveloped the bodies of the blackened girls suddenly exploded, covering the sky and the earth, causing them to raise their heads. With the same evil smile on her face, the leader of the dark girls laughed. She laughed until her whole body started trembling. Scum, are you looking for death? 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 Everyone, can you calm down first? Oh, so you're looking for death. If you're looking for death, then we'll grant you your wish. Wu Yan's body shook and he quickly leaped back. The next second, countless attacks landed on the spot where he stood, smashing a huge crater in the ground. Looking at the bottomless crater, Wu Yan's face turned pale. He quickly put down the two girls in his arms and ran away like his life depended on it. Stop right there. Despicable scum. Die. Die. Don't think you'll survive today. The group of Tokuwadai girls chased after Wu Yan's figure and ran away. The next day, a new urban legend was born. It said that 80% of the Tokuwadai girls who don't have boyfriends were betrayed by a scum, so they formed an army of women and chased that scum to the ends of the earth. Until that scumbag was saved by a pink-winged angel. Chapter 238. Sit up straight. Wu Yan shuddered and quickly sat up. He looked at Mikoto, Chuju and Astria, who are looking at him like he's some kind of criminal being judged. He started crying in his heart. When did I get punished by my women to kneel on the floor? Even though I'm still sitting down. Master. Ikaros turned to Mikoto and Hinajuku as she looked at Wu Yan, who is still sitting there with tears in his eyes. She couldn't bear to see him like this. Ikaros, don't you dare plead for him. How could Hinajuku and Mikoto not know what Ikaros is thinking, since they are familiar with her personality that revolves around Wu Yan? Thus, they bluntly rejected the pleading in Ikaros' eyes. Master. Ikaros clenched her fists tightly. She closed her eyes and pretended she didn't see Wu Yan, who is about to fall into the abyss of suffering. Wu Yan wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Great, now even Ikaros can't save him. Looks like Mikoto and Hinajuku's scolding convention has to continue. Chuju crossed her arms in front of her chest and narrowed her yellow-green eyes at Wu Yan. You caused quite a ruckus yesterday, Yan. Yep. Astria nodded as if she's serious. Wu Yan really wanted to grab her and spank her ass. It's one thing for her to not save her master when he's in danger, but to hit him while he's down. Chuju placed a laptop in front of Wu Yan. There's a message on it. More than 80% of the girls in Tokuwadai who don't have boyfriends were betrayed by a scumbag. They formed an army of women and chased that scumbag to the ends of the earth. Until that scumbag was saved by a pink-winged angel. Looking at this latest urban legend of Academy City, also known by the nickname of the scumbag being hunted down, Wu Yan sweated profusely. What's even more sweaty is the comments below. Had he let down more than 80% of the Tokuwadai ladies who didn't have boyfriends? Forlord, you must be joking. Who would have such great ability to pick up so many girls at once? Moreover, they are the big misses of Tokuwadai. A pink-winged angel? OP, please go to the hospital. Remember to register yourself in the psychiatric department. OP, what's the phone number of being chased scumbag? Please let me take him as my master. Top floor. Those on the third and fourth floor, they've gone crazy thinking about girls. No. He must have gone crazy from wanting to be a scumbag. Oh, OP. Goodbye, Tower Master. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Wu Yan forced a smile. Chuju smiled brightly at Wu Yan. Yan, you're quite capable to be able to win the heart of such a girl. Hearing this, Wu Yan was even more speechless. I say, Chuju, you know that it's not like that. Of course I know it's not like that. Hinajiku slammed the table as if trying to show off her authority. Unfortunately, she slapped Astria's hand that was reaching for the fruit platter on the table. Astria yelped in pain and blew on Hinajiku's hand. She laughed awkwardly as Astria grabbed Hinajiku's hand and blew on it. Mikoto helplessly rubbed her forehead as she watched the drama unfold. She looked like she's having a headache, but when she saw Wu Yan sitting there trying to hold back his laughter, she got angry again. You're still laughing. I haven't settled the score with you yet. What do I owe you now? Wu Yan said in a wrong tone. He didn't know what kind of bad luck he had. He thought it was his lucky day when Sis Cannon and Jusama gave him benefits at the same time. Who knew he would end up being chased by the Dark Girls? They chased him for 9 whole streets and almost half of School District 7. It's no wonder he became an urban legend. If it wasn't for Ikaros descending from the sky and saving him at the end, the consequences would have been. When he thought about the group of Tokuwadai Oyosama that went berserk, he couldn't help but shiver a bit. Seeing him like this, Mikoto became even angrier. How dare you say you owe me something? Mikoto pointed at Wu Yan in anger. Her face turned red as she trembled. You treated me like that in front of so many Tokuwadai juniors, and you dare say you don't owe me anything. Wu Yan was stunned. Is this my fault? You were the one who grabbed my hand and pressed it against your own chest. Thinking along these lines, Wu Yan forgot that it was Mikoto who pressed down, but the one who rubbed down is him. Mikoto's face flushed red. Now, everyone in Tokuwadai already knows that I was if I don't want to face those juniors of yours. Now they use the excuse of protecting Misaka-sama from being approached by scum as an excuse to move around me every day. They even follow me when I go out on the street. If I didn't find a chance to sneak away, I wouldn't be able to come here now. Luckily you didn't stupidly bring them here. Otherwise you'll have to wait to collect my corpse. Furthermore, see that guy, when he saw me being so intimate with you, he actually began to suspect whether or not I've been taken by you. In one night he ambushed me several tens of times, saying that he wanted to check if I was a virgin. That perverted Yuri creature didn't use an aphrodisiac on you. That's good enough. The most serious thing is, those teachers, 1 or 2 of them came to scold me. They said I was too young and shouldn't go overboard. The most ridiculous thing is, they told me to take care of my body. What kind of teachers are they? It's fine if those unreliable teachers came to me. I didn't expect that even the dormitory supervisor came to me. She said it was my business to mess around, but I couldn't break the rules of the dormitory. She didn't allow me to bring anyone over for the night. She said a bunch of dormitory rules until my head started to swell. The dormitory supervisor is mighty. Are you listening to me or not? I heard it. Wu Yan quickly said. Sis Cannon was very agitated now. If he angered her, it wouldn't be a big deal for him, but the house he bought with great difficulty would be in trouble. After speaking so much in one go, Mikoto felt her mouth dry up. She took a sip of her drink and panted a few times before turning her head away angrily. Tell me, what should I do now? Wu Yan paused for a second. What do you mean, what should I do? Mikoto slumped on the table weakly and whimpered. My life has been messed up. I can't live in Tokuwadai anymore. If this continues, I'll burn to ashes. Mikoto abruptly lifted her head and yelled at Wu Yan. Come up with an idea for me. This is all your fault. All right, I got it. Wu Yan said helplessly. Why don't you just move in from now on? Mikoto's eyes lit up but quickly dimmed again. Tokuwadai's rules are very strict. They don't even allow us to spend the night outside, let alone move out. You don't have to worry about that. Wu Yan smiled. I have an idea. You'll be allowed to move in soon. Really? Mikoto looked at Wu Yan suspiciously. Wu Yan nodded in affirmation. Alistair wouldn't mind doing her a small favor. That's great. Chuju clapped her hands and pulled Mikoto. Let's go. Mikoto will stay in the same room. Stunned, Wu Yan pointed at himself in a daze. What about me? Chuju blushed and said angrily. Go sleep by yourself. Dejected, Wu Yan lowered his head, but very quickly he looked at Ikaros with a hopeful expression. Who knew that Mikoto would say? Ikaros, let's have a good chat tonight. After that she pulled Ikaros away. Wu Yan was stunned. He could only look at the last person left in the room. Astria's face turned red as she yelled at Wu Yan. Master! Idiot! She left as well, leaving Wu Yan alone with a dejected look on his face. Before Wu Yan could react, the four girls in the living room heard the sound of the door being kicked open. They turned around at the same time. When they saw Wu Yan noticed that they were stunned. After a while, Ikaros suddenly raised her finger and pointed at Wu Yan. You woman! Why are you here? Wu Yan is stunned. He couldn't help but be stunned. First of all, Ikaros yelling at someone with an angry face is already something that doesn't make sense. Second of all, what did Wu Yan hear? You woman! Wu Yan could only try his best to hold his jaw that was about to fall off. He stuttered. Eros. When he spoke, Wu Yan was stunned again. The sweet and tender voice came from his throat and came out from his mouth. No matter how slow he is, Wu Yan noticed that his voice is a girl's voice. Wu Yan also noticed this. Not only did his voice change, even his body felt a little strange. Especially his chest, it felt heavy. Combined with what Ikaros said just now, a bad premonition rose from Wu Yan's heart. He reflexively looked at his chest. A pair of voluptuous breasts that covered his lower body entered his vision. As Wu Yan lowered his head, bright golden bangs and slightly messy blonde hair appeared in Wu Yan's vision. Taking a few light breaths, he looked at the four girls and his own body that is even more out of place. He raised his head and looked at the sky. In other words, Mikoto became Ikaros, Ikaros became Chuju, Chuju became Astria, and Astria became Mikoto. Is that it? A blonde man with huge breasts sat in the middle of the hall. Sitting in the middle of the hall, he glanced at the four girls surrounding him and sighed. When they heard Wu Yan's words, the four girls nodded in unison. Then Ikaros. No, Mikoto, who was using Ikaros' body, gave Wu Yan an annoyed look. Then you turned into that annoying woman. Wu Yan sighed again. He wanted to cry but no tears came out. Yes, he turned into her, and it's the familiar her. Shogo Masaki. Tima. This body that Wu Yan liked a lot. Now it's making him feel like he doesn't want to see it. Astria, the original Hinajuku, looked at her body and frowned. She crossed her arms in front of her chest out of habit. However, her arms were repelled by her ample bosom. She felt pressured as she was originally a flat-chested girl. Yan, according to what you said, we became like this because of that thing called angel fall? Wu Yan nodded. That's the only explanation that can explain why we became like this. Mikoto. No, Astria, who was using Mikoto's body, shouted at Wu Yan anxiously. Then what should we do? You, Astria, doesn't want to use this body, master. Hurry up and think of something. Hey, what do you mean by this body? Mikoto slammed the table in dissatisfaction. Wu Yan felt like he was being cheated. After all, the person who slammed the table in anger was Ikaros. He can imagine how out of place Ikaros, who was supposed to be a fake samurai, suddenly slamming the table in dissatisfaction. Chuju laughed awkwardly before turning to Wu Yan. Yan, Astria is right, we can't go on like this. It's better to solve this quickly. I'm not used to other people's bodies. Is that so? Wu Yan looked at Hinajuku suspiciously before narrowing his eyes. But why do I feel like you like your current body? Everyone in the room turned to look at Chuju. Chuju's expression stiffened and she awkwardly averted her gaze. No, stare. Wu Yan, Mikoto, Astria, Ikaros. Chuju got angry when she saw their faces, saying, I don't believe you. She pointed at Mikoto. Mikoto, don't you like your current body too? Don't spout nonsense. Mikoto quickly refuted. I didn't. However, the more he spoke, the weaker his voice became. The more he spoke, the more guilty he felt. Wu Yan could only helplessly shake his head. It's understandable, Sis Kanon and Kaishisama's bodies are a pain in their hearts. Now that they have a chance to use such a voluptuous body, it would be strange if they weren't happy. In any case, let's think of a way to solve this fallen angel problem. Wu Yan decisively said. There should be people from the mage faction working on fallen angel right now. Even though we can wait for them to solve it, it's a bit unreliable. It's better if we do it ourselves. Chuju, Mikoto, Ikaros, and Astria nodded in unison. Chapter 240. Found it. In the living room, Wu Yan, Mikoto, Hinajiku, and Astria surrounded Ikaros as they watched her work on her computer. They didn't say anything until Ikaros said something. Only then did they step forward. Chuju? No, Ikaros, did you find it? Yes, master. Ikaros looked at Wu Yan with an expressionless face while wearing Chuju's appearance. Wu Yan wasn't used to this. It made him more determined to restore everyone's appearance. Hinajiku leaned in front of the computer screen and looked at the information on it. She asked curiously, Yan, why are you investigating this address? Is it related to Angel Fall? That address. Mikoto frowned as she looked at Wu Yan. When she saw Shokuhu Misaki's face, her frown deepened. She turned her head away helplessly. Ah. Wu Yan nodded and said to the girls. To activate Angel Fall, a ritual must be set up beforehand. Once the ritual is complete, even if it's a normal person, Angel Fall will still be activated. You mean? Chuju thought for a moment and seemed to understand. That's right. Wu Yan pointed at the address on the computer screen. Once the ritual is complete, Angel Fall will be activated. On the other hand, if the ritual site is destroyed, Angel Fall will be disbanded. This address is the ritual site of Angel Fall? Mikoto looked at Wu Yan and asked. Yeah. Wu Yan smiled and said to Mikoto. Once the building at this address is destroyed, Angel Fall will be disbanded. Really? That's great. Astria was the first to jump up and cheer when she heard Wu Yan's words. However, she was using Mikoto's body. She clasped her hands in front of her chest and looked at Wu Yan with admiration. Master is amazing. You know so many things as expected of my master. Hearing this, Hinajiku and Mikoto were confused. Hinajiku touched her cheek and frowned. Now that Astria mentioned it, I do agree. Yan, you always know things that others don't. Where did you get them from? The last sentence was obviously directed at Wu Yan. Wu Yan could only helplessly shrug and smile at them. How could he possibly tell them that he had seen everything on the screen? Seeing Wu Yan's shameless face, Mikoto, who was already unhappy with his face, became even more unhappy. She coldly humphed and turned her head away. Chuju did the same, but the two girls didn't continue to ask, which made Wu Yan relieved. After thinking for a while, Wu Yan said to the four girls, Chuju, Mikoto, Ikaros, Astria, the four of you, go and destroy that ritual. Chuju and Mikoto immediately asked, what about you? Me. Wu Yan smiled faintly, a strange red light flashed in his golden eyes. I will go and meet that unlucky angel. If Wu Yan's memory serves him right, the archangel who fell to the mortal realm because of Angel Fall used a spell to destroy the world in order to return to the heavens. Even though in the original work, Tsuchimikado Motoharu destroyed the ritual in time and allowed the archangel to return to heaven, preventing the apocalypse, Wu Yan didn't dare to bet everything on the original plot. He, Hinajiku, Ikaros, and Astria, who originally didn't exist in this world, had already arrived in this world. This world was already different from the moment they arrived in this world. Wu Yan felt that he had to make a trip there to prevent himself from losing an entire instance world if things go wrong. Master. Ikaros immediately stood up and walked in front of Wu Yan. Her intention was clear. Ikaros didn't want Wu Yan to go alone against an angel. Ikaros, follow Chuju and Mikoto to destroy the ritual. Looking at Ikaros' expressionless yet pitiful face, Wu Yan felt weird, but he still raised his hand and patted Ikaros' head. But Ikaros' eyes are filled with worry. Protecting her master's safety is the most basic duty of an angel, but she can't remember how long it's been since the last time she was by her master's side in a battle. Seeing the faint sadness in Ikaro's eyes, Wu Yan felt his heart ache. This girl who puts him at the center of everything, no matter how much he protects her, he feels like he owes her a lot. After patting Ikaro's head under the shocked gazes of Mikoto, Chuju and Astria, Wu Yan kissed the corner of Ikaro's lips and smiled at the stunned Ikaros. Be a good girl. Ikaros stared blankly at the beautiful girl who kissed her and stood in front of her. She had a strange feeling in her heart. In the end, thousands of words turned into one sentence. Yes, master. Actually, Ikaros didn't know that the strange feeling in her heart was called scam. Chuju and Mikoto's mouths twitched as they looked at the two who suddenly fell into a pink atmosphere. They felt like thousands of grass mud horses were running through their hearts. Even though they know the two in front of them are a real couple, but at least in the eyes of the people here, the scene in front of them is very yuri. Especially Hinajiku, when she saw her body being kissed by a very beautiful girl, her heart was in a mess and she could only scream madly. Don't mess around with other people's bodies. Walking on the streets of Academy City, Wu Yan helplessly stopped in his tracks. Even though his body is Jusama's, Wu Yan couldn't help but feel a sense of pain in his balls. As expected of an exercise idiot, after walking for less than 10 minutes, he has to stop and rest for 5 minutes. How did he manage to cultivate this body? Realizing that if he continues walking like this, the Armageddon might be activated before he arrives, Wu Yan decisively gave up. He casually turned off the electromagnetic barrier on his body and picked up his phone. He didn't even dial the number, he directly spoke into the phone. Alistair, I know you can hear me. After a moment of silence, a voice came from the other side of the phone. What do you need me to do? Very straightforward and concise, very much like Alistair's style. However, Wu Yan had a strange expression on his face. He forced himself to hold back the laughter that was about to come out of his mouth. His face turned red from holding back his laughter. This was because on the other side of the phone, Alistair's voice no longer sounded like a machine. Instead, it sounded very cute and tender, like a cute loli's voice. Even though he didn't know what Alistair looked like, Wu Yan couldn't help but imagine a cute loli with an expressionless face hanging upside down in a culture tank filled with liquid. At this time, Wu Yan finally realized that even a demon god like Alistair would be affected by angel fall. No matter how strong Alistair is, he's still just a human. Even Wu Yan, who has the system and is now a primogenitor, was affected. There's no way Alistair wouldn't be affected by the Archangel's power. He just doesn't know if that damn strong AI Waith was affected. If he was, then it would be fun. Holding back his laughter, Wu Yan coughed and said seriously, "Help me get ready, you know what I'm going to do." On the other side of the phone, Alistair was silent for a moment before saying, "The helicopter to the destination will arrive in 5 minutes." Hearing this, Wu Yan nodded. Listening to Alistair's cute lowly voice, his starry eyes curved into crescents. Perhaps Alistair knew what Wu Yan was thinking. His voice suddenly came. "I wish you success. 5th place." Wu Yan's smile froze on his face. Chapter 241. Sitting on the helicopter, Wu Yan looked at the little Shota in the pilot's seat and told himself that he shouldn't take it to heart. The one who cares about the details is Sheruno. Even though Alistair's efficiency is very good and the strength of the driver is very solid, allowing Wu Yan to rush towards the beach where the Archangel's power of God will descend at the fastest speed possible. However, the series of actions with the 4 girls at home has already delayed a lot of time. At this moment, the sun is about to set. Wu Yan doesn't know when the Archangel's power of God will activate the world extinguishing technique. Therefore, Wu Yan can only tell himself that he has to hurry. From time to time, Wu Yan would raise his head to look at the sky to make sure that the world extinguishing technique has yet to appear. Only then did he slow down. However, the silent sky didn't last for long. Soon, a magic formation that covered the entire sky and emitted a terrifying aura of destruction extended from the other side of the sky at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than a second, it covered the entire sky in Wu Yan's line of sight. Feeling the terrifying aura of destruction from the magic formation, Wu Yan's expression gradually sank. In the end, the world extinguishing technique has been activated. It's not here yet? Seeing that the world extinguishing technique has been activated, Wu Yan couldn't help but feel a little anxious. He frowned and shouted at the driver. Without waiting for the driver to speak, a small figure appeared in Wu Yan's line of sight, causing Wu Yan's eyes to narrow. Wu Yan can't see the specific shape of the figure. However, Wu Yan can clearly see the huge icicle wings on her back that look like spider legs. Angel. Power of God. Under the huge icicle wings, the archangel's body is like a tiny dot. With the support of the wings, she stopped in mid-air. Under the huge wings and magic formation, 3 familiar figures that he met for the first time appeared in Wu Yan's line of sight. 2 men and 1 woman. One of the men was old and the other was young. The old man looked somewhat similar to the young man. He had a beard on his chin and looked quite mature. The young man had a hedgehog head. His face was full of misfortune and poverty. People who saw him couldn't help but feel pity for him. They also wanted to step on his face a couple of times. Kamiju Kitsuya. Kamiju Toma. Seeing these 2 people, Wu Yan automatically ignored Kamiju Kitsuya and directly looked at Kamiju Toma, the main character of the original work. The first time he saw Kamiju Toma, Wu Yan had the urge to kill him. This urge is the same as when he went on dates with Jusama or Mikoto and the other girls. It's the same kind of urge that those who are jealous of him would have when he went on a date with Jusama or Mikoto. It's an impulse that all men will have when they face a winner in life. Although the crystal palace of seducing girls had almost been emptied by him, seducing girls was still a winner in life. Just indicia alone is enough to make countless lolicons burn him to death. As for the remaining woman, Wu Yan, who was still on the helicopter and could only roughly see her appearance, his eyes lit up. She was wearing a t-shirt that was tied up at the waist and a pair of jeans. The jeans were cut off from the bottom of her left thigh, giving her a very sexy look. Her long black hair was tied up into a ponytail and hung down to her waist. She had a tall and slender figure and fair skin. In her hand was a knife that was very similar to Feifei's night elf. A beauty. A 100% beauty. Even though Wu Yan, who was surrounded by all kinds of outstanding beauties every day and has already trained his taste, to a certain extent, he couldn't help but secretly admire her beauty. Soul-rending fire weave. He was a magician from the Church of Necessary Evil, a British Puritan religion, and one of the top 5 magicians in London. One of the only 20 saints in the world, the former Pope of the Forsaken Cross, able to use part of the power of the God's child. A super strong fighter with heart, technique and physique. These information that he saw on the screen automatically rolled through Wu Yan's mind. Wu Yan's gaze towards Kanzaki Kori became more serious. In Wu Yan's eyes, Kanzaki Kori is indeed worthy of such powerful information. Kanzaki Kori, level 72. Impressive. Kanzaki Kori is a tier 8 fighter. At this time, Kanzaki Kori, Kamiju Toma, and Kamiju Kitsuya didn't notice a helicopter flying towards them. They were looking at the Archangel's power of God with a serious expression. Kanzaki Kori looked at the Archangel's power of God and then at the huge magic formation in the sky and gritted her teeth. Lowering her head, Kanzaki Kori said in a deep voice, "A rain of rockets that once destroyed a fallen civilization." Looking at the Archangel's power of God, Kanzaki Kori said in a loud voice, "Just to return to heaven, such a goal, the power of God, you intend to destroy this entire world?" Hearing this, Kamiju Toma's body trembled. His unlucky face with a dark aura gradually became serious, and his hand that was holding the girl's hand clenched tightly. "Destroy the world? Don't joke around. Kamiju Toma." Kanzaki Kori's eyes focused on Kamiju Toma. "Do you intend to interfere? The opponent is an angel. Even if you have fantasy killer, the next level of battle isn't something an ordinary human like you can interfere." Kamiju Toma clenched his teeth and said unwillingly, "Do you want me to watch this world be destroyed?" Kanzaki Kori was silent, but Kamiju Kitsuya suddenly screamed on the side. A girl fell from the sky. Kamiju Toma's righteous face suddenly collapsed. He looked at his father and shouted crazily, "I'm talking to you." This is a very dangerous time. Are you still thinking about something as unrealistic as a beauty falling from the sky? On the other hand, Shinja Hyuri was stunned when she looked up. No, there really is a girl falling from the sky. At this time, Kamiju Toma finally saw a golden-haired super beauty falling from the sky. He was instantly dumbfounded. He didn't know if it was because there really was a girl falling from the sky or because the other party was very beautiful. After regaining his senses, Kamijutoma realized that the girl was in free fall. He hurriedly yelled danger at the girl falling from the sky. Then he reached out his fantasy killer, or in other words his hand, to grab the girl in the sky. Using the word grab is not wrong, because Kamijutoma's hand, who knows if it's intentional or not, was aimed at the girl's chest. Of course, the hand didn't know that the girl in the sky, although the body is a girl, inside there's a real man's heart. This so-called girl falling from the sky is Wu Yan, who came to the scene, directly jumped down from the helicopter after sending the driver away. Looking at the hand that's reaching out towards him, Wu Yan's expression turned awkward. No wonder they're called the hand that's trying to pick up girls. They even dare to reach out to someone they just met for the first time, and with such precision too. At this moment, Wu Yan didn't plan to do free fall anymore. He turned his body, and under the shocked eyes of the girl and two boys, suddenly became light and then directly floated in the air. Kamijutoma stared blankly at the beautiful girl floating in the air, muttering, "The girl flew?" Kamijutoma heard Kamijutoma's words and nodded dumbly. Looking at the old and young pair, Kanzaki Kori was angry. "What time is it now? You guys are still playing?" She shouted at the two unreliable guys, making them tremble in fear. Kanzaki Kori also looked at Wu Yan floating in the air and shouted, "Over there, unrelated personal. Please leave this place quickly. This place will become very dangerous." Hearing this, Wu Yan smiled faintly, but didn't immediately answer Kanzaki Kori. Instead, he looked at Archangel God's strength. A light flashed in his eyes, his face serious to the extreme. God's strength. Level 75. Chapter 242. Archangel of God. Level 75. Wu Yan's face darkened at the sight of this level. His golden eyes became serious. Archangel of God's level is almost one level higher than his. With his current level, if he were to go against the Archangel's divine power, he would be courting death. Of course, Wu Yan might be able to rely on True Ancestor's undying ability to hold off Archangel of God for a while if he doesn't have Jusama's body. But now it would be a disaster if Jusama's body were to be destroyed. Wu Yan sighed as he looked at Kanzaki Kori and Kamijutoma on the ground. His serious expression loosened up a little bit. With their combined strength, they should be able to hold their own against an Archangel of God. Kanzaki Kori, Level 72. Kamijutoma. Level 10. Seeing Kamijutoma's level, Wu Yan almost fell from the sky. Helplessness in his heart. This girl's hands are really useless. But Wu Yan also knows that Kamijutoma's level may be low, but that doesn't mean he's weak. His level may be pitifully low, but with that cheating fantasy killer, levels and whatnot aren't that important. As for Kanzaki Kori, Wu Yan can sense that she's far from being level 72. But once she uses her sage ability and activates her holy mark, she'll be able to hold her own against an Archangel of God even if she doesn't have a helper. Wu Yan was thinking to himself in the sky. Kanzaki Kori thought he was scared stiff by the angel's appearance, so she quickly yelled again. "Hurry up and leave this place. It's dangerous here." Hearing Kanzaki Kori's shout, Wu Yan had no choice but to stop his train of thought. He looked up at the Armageddon in the sky and his starry eyes narrowed. Shokuhu Misaki's sweet voice rippled through the turbulent space. Her lips parted slightly. "Indeed, it's dangerous here." Unconsciously raising a hand to cover his mouth, Wu Yan chuckled. He didn't realize that his manly heart had begun to crack and he was acting like a girl. That Armageddon technique is too dangerous. It's better not to leave it behind. Hearing this, Hikari Kori was taken aback. She seemed a little surprised that the other party would know about Armageddon. But Wu Yan's words made her feel that the other party's background was not simple. Wu Yan glanced at the Archangel's divine power and spoke indifferently, as if the person in front of him wasn't one level higher than him, but one level lower. "Archangel, the power of God, you're willing to destroy this world in order to return to the heavens? In that case, you have to get the consent of us tenants first." After speaking, Wu Yan ignored Kanzaki Kori and the others who were stunned by his words. He looked up at the sky and stared at the Armageddon technique formation. He raised his hand. A ray of light flashed by. Kanzaki Kori, Kamijudonma, Kamijukitsuya, and the Archangel's divine power only saw a blur before they saw a bow in Wu Yan's hand. It's a transparent longbow that looks like a pair of wings. It's as black as ink and it's shining like stars. Meteor Knight. This is the Meteor Knight that even I wouldn't be able to take on without getting hurt. Once again it's in Wu Yan's hand. Light suddenly appeared in the originally dark sky. They were like fireflies floating slowly in this space. Then with a burst of speed, they turned into starlight with a faint silver glow, and madly gathered towards the Meteor Knight. The familiar stars rushed towards the Meteor Knight in his hand. Wu Yan's lips curled into an excited smile. This time he can finally use the Meteor Knight. With excitement, Wu Yan knocked the bowstring of the Meteor Knight and slowly pulled. Starlight as resplendent as the Milky Way gathered on the body of the elegant transparent longbow, forming a shining silver arrow. With the appearance of the arrow, the Archangel's calm expression finally changed. Kanzaki Kori on the ground was also shocked to see a terrifying aura gushing out from the elegant longbow. It even overshadowed the aura of the Armageddon spell formation in the sky. What kind of bow is that? Kanzaki Kori looked at the Meteor Knight in Wu Yan's hand and gulped. If it's even more terrifying than the Armageddon spell formation, that's not necessarily the case. If the Armageddon spell formation is activated, then the Meteor Knight will definitely be no match for it. It's only now that the Armageddon spell formation still needs a lot of time to prepare. The Meteor Knight is only slightly stronger than the Armageddon spell formation. The stars are circling around Wu Yan and the Meteor Knight like meteors in the night sky. At this moment, Wu Yan with Shokuhu Misaki's body is like a goddess under the moonlight, very moving. Even Kanzaki Kori, who was shocked by the might of the Meteor Knight, couldn't help but be a little dazed, let alone Kanzaki Kori, who was shocked by the might of the Meteor Knight. The Archangel seems to be stunned by the Meteor Knight. She stared blankly at Wu Yan, who is aiming at the Armageddon spell formation in the sky. For a moment she forgot to react. Looking up at the giant spell formation, Wu Yan pulled the string of Meteor Knight to its fullest. The surrounding stars are constantly replenishing the arrow, increasing its power to the maximum. Until the moment the power reached its peak, a meteor streaked out from the Meteor Knight, cutting through the sky, space and night. Kanzaki Kori, Kanzaki Kori, Kanzaki Kori, Kanzaki Kori, and the Archangel all had different expressions on their faces. The meteor crashed into the Armageddon spell formation. There was no strange sound, no strange phenomenon, no terrifying aura and no brilliance that filled the sky. The meteor collided with the magic array. In the instant it collided with the magic array, the meteor disappeared without a trace. Only the Armageddon spell formation is still shining brightly in the sky. It's as if everything that just happened was just an illusion. After a long time, under Kanzaki Kori's stunned gaze, the Armageddon spell formation in the sky suddenly cracked. Along with this crisp cracking sound, the Armageddon spell formation in the sky started to emit continuous cracking sounds. And then countless cracks appeared on the Armageddon spell formation as if it was glass that had been shattered. In the end, with a loud clang, the magic array that covered the sky turned into fragments and disappeared. Wu Yan put down meteor shower as if he just did something not worth mentioning. Wu Yan bathed in the light of the Armageddon magic formation. Kanzaki Kori's heart was deeply shaken. Wu Yan's heart was deeply shaken. That bow, that meteor. Everyone was immersed in that beautiful scene for a long time, unable to extricate themselves. What kind of person was she? Kanzaki Kori stared at Wu Yan, who was floating in the sky. Her shock turned into seriousness and curiosity. Of course she's looking at the meteor shower in Wu Yan's hand. As a saint of the magic faction, Kanzaki Kori has never heard of any spiritual equipment that can shatter a Armageddon spell formation. Even the spiritual equipment left behind by God Jehovah is the same. With such a terrifying weapon, Kanzaki Kori could foresee that the Church of Necessary Evil's cute bishop would have sleepless nights if the other party was a hostile faction. As for her curiosity, of course she's curious about Wu Yan himself. She? Just who is she? A magician? An ability user? A free agent? Or a subordinate faction? All of these mysteries made Kanzaki Kori unable to react. Of course, the Archangel God's power is an exception. Chapter 243. The destruction of the Armageddon didn't seem to have caught the attention of Archangel Godly. The only exception was when Wu Yan took out Meteor Shower. Archangel Godly's expression changed a little when Wu Yan took out Meteor Shower. On the other hand, Kanzaki Kori, Kamiju Toma, and Kamiju Katsuya looked at the meteor shower in Wu Yan's hand with a blank, serious and fearful expression. Of course, the other person who just arrived had the same expression. Is that mind control? Tsukimike's Motoharu froze for a moment and exclaimed in surprise. Living in Academy City and with such a sensitive identity, it's impossible for Tsukimike's Motoharu not to recognize the LV5 Shokuhu Misaki. Kanzaki Kori and the others immediately turned to look. Kanzaki Kori frowned and asked Tsukimike's Motoharu, "Do you know her?" Tsukimike's Motoharu took a deep look at Wu Yan floating in the air and nodded. Her name is Shokuhu Misaki, the fifth of the 7 LV5 in Academy City. Her ability is mind control. Just like her title, she's an expert at manipulating other people's minds. Tsukimike's Motoharu smiled and started to tease her. But this one shouldn't be the fifth meow. After all, I've never heard of the fifth meow being able to fly. Kanzaki Kori froze for a moment before realizing something. You're saying that she was also affected by angel fall? Tsukimike's Motoharu nodded. Kamiju Toma scratched his head in annoyance. Then who is that up there? No one answered this question because this was also the biggest doubt in their hearts. Kanzaki Kori even murmured a sentence with rapt attention. I hope it's not an enemy. Tsukimike's Motoharu seems to have heard Kanzaki Kori's words. He glanced at the girl in the sky again and told himself that he must figure out her identity. Otherwise, with such a terrifying power hidden in the dark, as long as she casually interferes with the current state of the world, it will cause a lot of trouble. Just now, Tsuchimikado Motoharu also saw that arrow that seemed to be able to shatter the sky. And at this moment there was a new movement in the sky. Archangel God Power didn't say anything about her doomsday technique being destroyed, but angels don't have any other surnames, but Archangel God Power's current body is a lowly, so she's using her. Is clearly focused on Wu Yan. A strange light flashed in her eyes, but it was as colorless as stagnant water. The Archangel stared at Wu Yan expressionlessly and suddenly raised the strangely shaped weapon in her hand. For the emotionless Archangel divinity, there is no need for formalities. Anyone who tries to stop her from returning to her lord is a heretic that should be eradicated. Who knows how the Archangel divinity moved? The ice wings on her back suddenly shook and ripples appeared in the air. Countless icicles shot out from her wings. The target is Wu Yan. Wu Yan's expression changed. His fingers moved slightly and his body suddenly floated away like a green leaf in the wind. If you look closely, you will notice a layer of fine iron particles that can only be seen when standing directly in front of Wu Yan rolled into a liquid and gently floated around Wu Yan's hands and feet. Wu Yan only slightly modified some of the original calculation formulas to control the fine iron particles to support his body and achieve flight. This was the inspiration he got from the battle with Accelerator, where he controlled the iron particles into a ball to empty himself. Wu Yan didn't need much computing power to achieve this goal. With a light push of the formula in his mind, the fine iron particles around his hands and feet became like his own hands and feet, carrying him around in the air. It's as if he's really flying. Let's do it. Kanzaki Kori placed one hand on her 7 heavens 7 blades and said to Kamiju Toma, Kamiju Soya and Tsuchimikado Motoharu, "You guys, go destroy the ritual site of Angel Fall." Kamiju Toma was taken aback and quickly shouted to Kanzaki Kori, "What about you?" Kanzaki Kori looked up at the sky and saw Wu Yan dodging in a sorry state. "I'll stay here and hold back the Archangel divinity." "You want to fight against an angel?" Kamiju Toma was shocked. Even if he did not know anything about magic, he at least knew that those angels are not something humans can fight against. Kamiju Toma did not know that in some aspects, a sage with the stigmata can fight against an angel. But Kanzaki Kori did not plan to use the stigmata. She looked at Wu Yan, who was dodging the Archangel divinity's attack, and smiled lightly. "Don't worry, with my ability and that mysterious strong person, we should be able to hold back the Archangel divinity." But when Kamiju Toma was still a little hesitant, Tsuchimikado Motoharu suddenly pulled his hand and smiled at him. "Don't worry, Meow. Big sister is very strong, Meow. We also have things to do, Meow." Hearing Tsuchimikado Motoharu's words, Kamiju Toma gritted his teeth and nodded. He followed Tsujimikado Motoharu and Kamiju Katsuya to his home. That was the site of the Angel Falls ceremony. Kanzaki Kori looked at their backs as they left. I'll leave it to you guys. Unfortunately, Kanzaki Kori did not know that there was another group of people who were preparing to demolish Kamiju Toma's house. The endless ice pillars were like raindrops on a rainy day. The ice pillars mercilessly pierced Wu Yan's body. As long as one is pierced, that delicate body of Jusama will come to an end. Wu Yan could only rely on his newly developed flying ability to escape in the sky. After a while he was already panting heavily. He wanted to fight back, but the powerful bullet screen made it so that if he moved, 1 or 2 icicles would appear in front of him. He didn't even have the time to raise his meteor shower.